Did you go back home? live on tonight. Dude. What? I had to jump on early because I don't know, somebody got shot or something. That. Trying to find out, guess what happened.
Where, on La Brea? No, it was literally in front of the police department, the police court, or you guys came back downtown after I seen you on La Brea? Yeah. You only a couple
of them are things that they studied. They may have done some training on it, but it's not something operationally where they did it day in and day out and built all that muscle memory.
Crazy, man.
Now you have probably at the mid-level and upper
just gonna
levels,
do a debate react kind of night,
officers who have done this before. Oh yeah, okay, I remember we did this, we did that. They have been refreshed with certainly if talking it through, if not actually going out there and working through some of these formations.
Crazy, dude. With some chick street.
Hey, the unit on
Yeah. He just fell.
How'd you move up?
I think we did. Get some no copyright. That beat.
almost had a souvenir.
Love tune, dude. Just bumping to the insurrection.
I don't know. Our weakness.
I think I've got to strain.
Hey, you guys are good right now. The crowd is kind of downtown. They're running and they're going right out of the sidewalk. Just let them down and figure out where they go.
This is the one where
I'm trying not to do.
Alright, are we back? Maybe? Here we go. I just said Tad Maniac. I have too many tabs.
You guys don't have a it depends. Sometimes it gets crazy. Friday was dead. Yeah, Friday was dead. I was out here Thursday. Yeah,
better.
Thursday. The first part of the curfew. It was pretty bad. I got them arrested, but they walked like 2 miles to a park. And it got crazy over there. But the problem is,
I might need to do like a 4-panel. These are like in a second.
Don't have a group of people walk up, hey, that's a nice car. Yes. That's why a lot of our guys are CC.
So we'll just do a...
Which one is that?
That should be a little bit easier on the resources. I don't know if we're even connected. Oh, dude. Struggling. Okay. I don't know if we can do Hollow. I think it's actually Discord. And I'm not even in Discord. It uses so much read. Okay. See how much that improves. Close Discord. Disable the preview. Okay, we're 3. We back?
R6 Mark II. Got a nice big sense of
Struggling tonight.
This one right here, you can get a 4.0 for aperture, and it'll do what that does on the 2.0. I'm not saying that's a bad camera, it's a great camera.
I know, she's
Nothing like that though. I started out with that part.
Well, I just wanted to check this out because
Tops are. So you love turning that around. Yeah. So light.
oh, this stupid music. Alright, enough upbeat music.
U.S. B-2 bombers with these massive ordnance penetrators, MOP bombs that are carried in them, were to hit those strikes, they could cause enough damage underground to destroy those sites. Yeah, we have seen Israel and Syria prior to the collapse of the Assad regime, that they actually conducted kinetic above-ground airstrikes along with drone strikes in a raid, and then they put special operations forces on the ground, and the special operations forces went into a underground Syrian underground bomb missile factory, if you want to call it that, or where they were creating missiles that they were using. And my recollection was this tied to Hezbollah. And they actually went in there and physically conducted a raid with special operations commandos to destroy that site. Now, that would be pretty spectacular if they were able to pull that off in Iran, because number one, these sites are, first off, Israel is not physically that close to Iran. There are countries in between.
Israel is not capable of destroying.
Second off, these sites aren't sitting right on the border. They're more inland. Some of them are quite far inland.
It's crazy that he's even mentioning
commandos.
I don't know if this is what he's mentioning.
Would be amazing. With all of that said,
seems like he's talking about the
Mossad and the military intelligence side of Israel conducted this massive covert infiltration of Iran, and that they actually launched drones, and they had anti-tank weapons and a variety of other things that they employed in concert with the air raids. So they literally were on the ground. There's even a report that they had what they call a secret or clandestine drone base near Tehran.
Yeah, they built a drone base near Tehran, and
a variety of targets, not just nuclear, but taking out leadership.
They took out personnel. They sent drones, like
very effective. It harkens back to what you saw Mossad,
like in Dark
Israel
Mirror, dude.
In Lebanon,
like they had a drone base, and these drones just came out once they had taken down all of the
clandestine capabilities.
Once they took down all the they basically blinded them and deafened them, and then all these drones come out, and like something out of Black Mirror, they start blowing up personnel, like houses where people were at, where they knew the targets were at. I guess they had tracking on them somehow. Like, it's actually insane. And they knew they couldn't destroy the nuclear facilities because all the nuclear facilities are like buried in mountains. Nothing that they can't blow them up.
Asks, why did Israel strike Iran first?
Good question.
Without waiting for the outcome of the USA-Iran deal in Oman? I believe
answer that honestly.
This had something to do with President Trump giving Iran a 60-day ultimatum. Do I have it right?
Yes, you do.
Oh, yeah, here's the
really is actually, I just want to say that is an outstanding question, because that's been asked by a number of leaders around the world.
They did it without Trump's permission.
Which is why this particular day. Ostensibly, it
and now Trump has to make it seem like it was...
when President Trump said, "Hey, we're going to try this initiative to try and negotiate with Iran to try and come up with some sort of diplomatic solution to this crisis," which all reports are Israel wasn't really too thrilled about. They were very resistant to Prime Minister.
Come on, dude. We're doing this again. I feel like I could just have these open and different.
Oh, weird. They just run.
Must be.
He did say the front. They change it up. Depends on who you're asking.
Look at shooting. Are they behind the police? How are they behind the police?
Get this tripod to sit up right. Someone burnt some hair. That's not right.
The regime is a very unpopular regime. Over 80% of the population does not like the regime. They like to get rid of the regime. They've had multiple attempts on the streets of trying to oust the regime, not successfully, but they've tried to do so. So there might be some other stuff in play behind the scenes that we haven't seen quite exhibit itself yet. But I would be surprised if the Israelis haven't tried to figure out some way that they can coalesce that deep hatred of Khomeini and his regime in concert with everything else going on.
And Jason from New Albany asks something in that vein. Will Israel cease operations for anything less than a regime change, Hal?
I don't know. Possibly.
Now they're just saying
it would have to be
openly.
something
That's
with
crazy.
really strong guarantees, sort of absolute guarantees that Iran would never be able to make a nuclear bomb.
I don't
which,
watch
by
the
way,
mainstream
that
media, so
particular,
maybe they were talking about this, but I don't.
Israeli condition
I feel like this is new for them.
mirrors up completely with the U.S. position, which
because
Iran cannot.
Just a couple of days ago,
weapon.
we were
And
just
I think
seeing
the
all the
European states
headlines.
They all nodded.
All the headlines were saying, and all the pundits were saying, "Oh, well, Israel's attacking first because Iran was, developing nuclear weapons." Now they're saying, "Oh, well, yeah, I mean, they're like looking for." It's like, okay, well, I can't believe they're even saying this, like that they're looking for a regime change, which is obviously true. Anybody who's like paying attention to this in the slightest knows that's what they're after. They weren't trying to destroy the nuclear weapons because they can't. They're buried, just like they were talking about earlier. There's no way they can get to them. And this guy's like brainstorming about, dropping troops in. Oh, well, we went underground in Syria and we did that one. Yeah, let's put U.S. boots on the ground. Really engage, in this conflict. It kicked this whole thing off, this whole three-front war between Iran, China, Russia, and the U.S. We really want, right? And Israel will just stand on the sidelines and watch, give us and it'll be our troops, our sons and daughters going to die for this.
Planners everywhere, but particularly in the Middle East look at, which is they look at the possible cascading effects and stuff. So Israel will definitely want something that guarantees that that sort of existential threat to the state of Israel is completely off the table in terms of everything going forward.
Yeah, because if they get a regime change, then they don't have to worry about
Israel at war
nuclear.
right now. My understanding is that an official declaration of war hasn't happened, but does it matter? Does it need to happen?
Another great question. That's another one that's been answered. Are they at war?
What a fucking stupid question. Why did he? Why did he glaze it? Why did he? That wasn't a fucking good. That was a stupid.
Hey, this Khomeini had first off.
Are they at war? What a good question, Bob. Excellent question. How does anybody fucking watch me?
Conflict with Israel, all right? But Khomeini did come out after this happened and basically, at least the way I interpreted what he was saying, I was like, if that's not a declaration of war, someone's going to have to explain to me what he just said. It looked pretty much like he was saying they were at war. So I as far as I can tell, they are at war. All right. Now it may not have all the legal nuances of the legislative bodies of each.
These people are fucking
passing
geniuses.
a resolution declaring a state of war. But I would point out that the U.S. hasn't had something like that since World War II.
So boomers are sitting at home just
had a
eating
number
the
of
shit.
wars since
Oh
then.
my
So,
God,
yeah,
they're
I would
at
say,
war!
they're
Holy
very much
shit,
at war.
boys!
There's no ambiguity that I can see.
We can't go to the
certainly de facto
casino
on
and
the ground.
fucking spam
and certainly from the executive side of each country,
spam our buttons
they appear to be very
anymore.
much on the
Is this going to affect my 401k, Tom?
Whether they're
Am I going to be able to go on 14 more cruises this year? Like
actually declare a state of war or declare a war of some sort, that could happen. But then again, I'm not sure how long this particular level of back and forth between Iran and Israel is going to continue. It really depends on what happens.
You can hate Nick, but Nick was right about everything.
Discount something that someone might call a strategic
When it comes to
surprise,
this,
or I think business would call it a black swan event. Where you see something that's just not expected. That there could be something happen within Iran where some other leadership or one or more other key leadership positions are eliminated, so to speak. So there's a lot of things that could happen. There's a lot of potentials.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And I think with the amount of planning, preparation, just I'm going to just say from a military standpoint, superb execution of what Israel has done in Iran, that they wouldn't have some other things in store, and they wouldn't be protecting whatever.
We all up in this guy's group. What you doing? Why are we in this dude's scruff? What's happening? Gonna kiss? Oh, it's just him and his. Is that the dude behind the camera, dude? God. These phenotypes are impeccable.
What happened? There we go. Good. I guess it just needed some juice. It says that the battery's not low.
Batteries. Dude, I remember going to these kind of. I remember going up to.
Another time. It's ready to go. You just take it. You're gonna take the best.
I see like older white dudes out here. I just don't get it. Really older anybody out here. Women I can see more because they're just emotional. But when I see older men, just older people in general, I just don't get it. Like, how are you this dumb? How do you buy it?
I'm
It's
about to run
crazy.
through my second charger. I didn't think it was gonna go down.
They don't even know why they're out here.
You know what? It looks like it's just people marching.
The government is doing its job.
People are probably just gonna chill.
And we're not happy that the government's doing the same thing they've always been doing under the past 4 administrations.
I was like, I don't want to take. I was like, I'm gonna go cover just the daytime, and then go over to my car and get ready for night and bring all my, my gear.
Okay, you want me?
A mask.
Put the charger on it.
No, I got it. They still got some. Look at all these people in this restaurant right here just chilling. Like, what's going on?
That is kind of crazy. Like, why are you going out to the bar and eating where, like, this is, what is happening? What time is it over there? It's like
so we're on
7?
Broadway and 4th Street. Yeah, there's nothing going on. We're just behind the police as they push the crowd south on Broadway. When they got to Broadway and 4th, someone tossed something which seemed like it came from that building up there on the balcony. Oh, it might. And they shot a bunch of rounds at that building. Let's see if they broke glass. Some of them had to have broken, bro. They shot a bunch of rounds.
Dang, bro. Boots on the brother, they're out here. Peg these idiots on the bikes. What is this one? This is crazy. We get the triple angle here. What's going on here? It's crazy. Who's doing this?
Ooh, they shot that.
Yeah, please be patient, everybody. We're trying to clear the roof right now. All right, we have people throwing bottles over the roof, so we're going to clear the roof and then we'll move forward. So just be patient, everybody.
Yeah, clear that roof. Oh yeah, the cops over there went inside. So we might see them up there. I'm still behind the cops. Still behind the front line. This is a different perspective. We were never behind a line like this before, so definitely gives a different insight on everything. How is all the cops gonna fit in the elevator to go up, though?
What's your first two numbers?
You're gonna have to switch
I
in.
want keys. How about that?
Oh yeah, they did clear it
Okay,
out.
1450,
No one on
and
top
then
no
you're,
more.
are you 13 officers? Copy, thank you.
13 call 110, you have the same number, and then you're ready to go.
Copy, I did not forget about you. I'm trying to find a crowd now. You got that crowd. out. And then we're going to see where they're beating up. And on 4th and Broadway, guys, that's a look-through crowd only. They don't look like they're as much of a threat. Yeah, there's some bottles up there. That's where we're holding. We've been responding in the building to address that threat before we move forward. If you take a look at Cycle Los Angeles, give me a crown. Second in Los Angeles.
Easy to kill someone from the roof. I saw JFK got assassinated. A lot of people dead. Even Trump, right, almost. Snipers were a side, I guess.
Claim that's what it is. If we go that direction, let's just say Israel does violate the human rights activity, this is your business, you decide to stay open.
Yeah, my phone's lagging.
Sergeant, we come up. Are we clear on the roof?
Earlier in the day, it was a great
Sergeant, come up.
Down the streets of Washington, D.C. Saturday night in a celebration of the U.S. Army's 250th birthday.
And watching this magnificent display, our souls are filled with gratitude for every generation of warriors who have worn the uniform all the way back to the very beginning.
The Golden Knights parachuted onto the National Mall while helicopters and historic planes flew overhead, and robot dogs marched down Constitution Avenue to showcase the future of warfare. The parade followed a day full of events celebrating the nation's largest branch of the military, including physical fitness challenges.
We want them to feel like they're proud of their Army and they're proud of the servicemen and women that serve in uniform, and also that maybe they could be one of those people too.
Protests across the country coincided with the parade Saturday, part of the No Kings movement.
It's so stupid too because
there were some clashes with law enforcement in Los Angeles. The rallies protested the president's policies, including his crackdown on illegal immigration.
there were people that were like complaining about this, like, "Oh, he's gonna have all the tanks and all. He's spending so much money on the."
Army officials estimate the cost of the
it's the
parade and related
250th
activities is between $25 and
birthday
$45 million.
of the military, like
in Washington,
or whatever it is. What is it? I don't even know what it is.
Our sister station,
250th birthday
of
the country or something.
Their newscast at the top of the hour. We're going to effort to dip into their news if, in fact, we do have access to it. Before we do that, though, let's get the latest from Fox's Connor Hansen on a
it's the United States Army's 250th birthday,
basically. Are fanning out across a Minneapolis
like
suburb.
Any president would have had a huge celebration, or at least they should
posed
have.
As a police officer and fatally shot a Democratic state lawmaker in her home in what Governor Tim Walz called a politically motivated assassination. Let's get the latest from Connor Hansen on this.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to see.
Former Minnesota House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband were shot and killed early Saturday in their suburban Brooklyn Park home just north of Minneapolis. A second state lawmaker, Senator John Hoffman, and his wife were also shot multiple times in nearby Champlin. Police believe both shootings were targeted and politically motivated.
We must all, Minnesota and across the country, stand against all forms of political violence.
Authorities say it all began around 2 a.m. in Champlin with a 911 call. As investigators responded to the Hoffman shooting, officers were proactively dispatched to the Hortman's home. That's where officers encountered the gunman dressed in a fake uniform. They exchanged gunfire, but the suspect managed to escape. Police later found the fake police cruiser and discovered a manifesto that identified several lawmakers and other state officials.
We are asking for the public's help at this point in time in locating Vance Luther Bolter, who is a 57-year-old white male.
State authorities say security has been heightened for those mentioned on that manifesto. Capitol Police, as well as the president, have also been briefed. President Trump released a statement saying, in part, quote, "Our Attorney General, Pam Bondi, and the FBI are investigating the situation, and they will be prosecuting anyone involved to the fullest extent of the law." Such horrific violence will not be tolerated. Out of an abundance of caution, the governor is urging Minnesotans not to attend any political rallies in the state until the suspect is caught. In New York, Connor Hansen,
Israel,
Fox
right now,
News.
you can only get power during.
No, go through this, and I'll tell you yes or no.
Hold on.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz.
Go ahead and finish.
The last we heard from them on camera. Let's watch.
For being here, I appreciate your patience and your work. You're going to be hearing from State Patrol Colonel Christina Bogoyevich. Again, you'll be hearing from State Patrol
Minnesota out of an abundance of caution. Given the targeted
it was weird whenever I saw the headline break for this earlier, it said has died from, what did it say? It was so crazy. It was like from shooting related wound or from shooting wounds or something. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? You're saying, like, did she kill herself? Did somebody kill her? Like, what happened? The way they phrased it was so weird.
I don't have any information on the ongoing investigation right now.
On the list of targets, for lack of a better term, are all of the people on the list, have they all been notified, and do they have law enforcement presence with them?
Again, that is part of the investigation right now, so I'm not going to answer those. Thank you.
So, well, I'm sorry, as I mentioned, we're getting to investigatory information. I'll leave that to Superintendent.
What are all your leads?
And good afternoon again, everyone, or good morning. Drew Evans, Superintendent of the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension.
Superintendent, excuse me, can we have it quiet out there so everybody can hear? Thank you.
What I wanted to note, though, as part of this, the references, the individual that is a person of interest that we've talked about, or individuals, are not in custody at this time. And so the reference materials that were inside of the vehicle that we saw, we have no understanding that any of the No Kings events would be targeted, but we also find it of interest to the public that these would be in there, and we want to alert everybody until we do that. Because this is such an active investigation with information not knowing right now, we feel it's an obligation to all of you and the public across the state of Minnesota to alert you of it, and that's why the Colonel made the notation of recommending people don't go today. But the individuals are not in custody yet, and so we want to make sure as that very active manhunt is underway and continues, that we make sure that we're sharing that, and that's part of why we're making the recommendation. As to that investigation and the list, we are working through that now and talking to individuals, and will continue to. What I would say with the list is there's a large number of people. That's all I can say about it. We will work through all of that, what the motivations of this are, and we'll provide that as you can. This is really a public safety announcement for everybody so that we can make sure people are informed and make safe decisions throughout the day.
Thank you. Guys, yep. So what? Yeah, I heard that too. Okay. What was the question?
I was just gonna say we got an email from organizers.
Lawmakers? So what were they?
It's a great question.
Prominent Democratic state lawmakers.
We're not the organizers. We're in contact with the organizers, I will say. Yeah. However, as you heard the message the Colonel gave, we've also put that out on State Patrol social media pages, and then I think with that we'll see that there's also a.
Who is this guy? Who is the suspect?
Of what we found inside the car regarding the No Kings rally. Social media, State Patrol social media pages, and I believe it's also being shared in the Department of Public Safety social media pages. All right, thanks guys. As I've done before, I promise to come and keep you updated as much as I can. We'll continue that cadence.
This guy
Thank you guys.
on X.
My mistake. I had said that Governor Tim Walz was in attendance there. He was at the first press briefing. That was the second one that we just aired out, the most recent one that we've heard from officials there. Okay, before we head off the air for the night, I do want to replay one thing from the day, and that is President Trump speaking at the military parade. He spoke with Melania by his side. Let's watch.
Everything crashing again.
Thank you very much, everybody, and thank you to Vice President Vance, and thank you to our wonderful First Lady, And above all, thank you to the greatest, fiercest, and bravest.
He was appointed to the governor's
ever to
workforce
stride the
development
face
board
of
in
this
2019
earth, the United
by
States
Governor Tim
Army.
Walz.
Thank you very much.
And he had no King's Flyers in his car.
Because the Army keeps us free, you make us strong, and tonight you have made all Americans very proud. They're watching from all over the world, actually. Made them all very proud.
It's kind of crazy.
Every other country celebrates their victories. It's about time America did too. That's what we're doing tonight. And watching this magnificent display, our souls are filled with gratitude for every generation of warriors who have worn the uniform all the way back to the very beginning. So to every veteran across our land, and right here in our nation's capital, including 6 recipients of the Congressional Medal of Honor, we love you, we honor you, and we salute your noble service to our flag and to our country. As we celebrate tonight, we also think of the hundreds of thousands of Army soldiers who have made the supreme
Who is saying this
sacrifice
guy's
for our
right wing?
nation and selflessly laid
He has
down
2
their
brain
lives
cells, they
in
know
every war,
that.
from the
Senators being
revolution
in
to
office
the
for 30
war on
years.
terror, to the Gold Star
Oh, yeah.
families with us today.
Yeah,
The courage of your heroes is the bedrock on which our entire nation stands. We thank you. Yes, we thank you. Today we commemorate an event that did not
if he
just
was
change
he's
American
appointed
history,
by
but
Tim
changed
Walz,
the
why would he
history
be right wing?
of the entire world.
I'm confused. Is
With
there
the
anything
creation
about
of
this guy?
America's
I'm trying to
Army
like scrape.
On June 14th, 1775, liberty got its shield and the freedom got its sword. Those first Army
CEO,
patriots in
Red
the
Line
American
Group.
Revolution fought against a
Jesus.
fearsome enemy and impossible odds, but they were armed with a righteous cause. They were led by an indomitable commander, a truly great man, General George Washington, and they were united by an eternal creed. Their motto was victory or death. Over the past 2.5 centuries, our warriors have shown unrivaled valor on fields of battle around the globe. With the frostbitten feet and bloody fist, they have marched into the flames and fury of combat, charged up mountains, stormed beaches, waded through torrents of gunfire, and leapt into skies thick with smoke and shrapnel.
Tell him, Trump.
The U.S. Army has driven bayonets into the heart of sinister
He was the general
empires,
manager at
crushed
Green
the
Corps,
ambitions of
Minneapolis.
evil tyrants.
It was just like
Beneath the
happy
threads of
pride.
American tanks, it's done
And it's
so
like,
well, it's done so much, and
what
sent
is
the
going
devil
on? How,
himself
this guy is not a right
flying
wing.
into full retreat.
This guy is
Time
not a
and
right
again,
wing.
America's enemies have learned
No
that
way.
if you threaten
Unless
the
they're just
American
being.
people, our soldiers are coming
Unless that
for
post is
you.
like being sarcastic,
Your
but
defeat
I never
will be
can
certain,
tell
your
anymore.
demise will be final, and your downfall will be total and complete.
Total and complete.
Because our soldiers never give up, never surrender, and never, ever quit. They fight, 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 and they win, win, win. And that's why no institution in history has entered more names into the roster of American heroes than the U.S. Army, the Congressional Medal of Honor, more than anyone or anything. There was Mad Anthony Wayne, asked by George Washington to lead a daring midnight raid up the cliffs of Stony Point with unloaded muskets and only their bayonets
Melissa
to fight
Hortman
the
voted
redcoats.
against free health care
Mad
for
Anthony
illegal
replied,
immigrants and
"Issue
gets
the
gunned
order,
down
sir,
2 days later.
and I will
Oh, yeah.
storm into hell for you." Then there was the Civil War General John Corse,
Appointed by
shot in
Tim
the
Walz,
face in
former
combat.
appointee.
He fired off a message to his commander: "I am short a cheekbone and one ear, but I am able to whip the hell out of all of them." He stayed on the front lines, it seemed forever. In World War II, there was the great Creighton
Are
Abrams.
we still
besieged on all sides by the Nazis at the Battle of the Bulge. He boldly proclaimed, "They've got us surrounded again, the poor bastards." This is the fighting spirit and unyielding force of the U.S. Army. It has never changed, and it will never, ever change, because there is no earthly force more powerful than the brave heart of a U.S. infantryman or an Army Ranger, paratrooper, or Green Beret. They are the best. They are the finest. From Bunker Hill to San Juan Hill, from Gettysburg to Guadalcanal, from Yorktown to Shiloh, and from the trenches of the Argonne to the mountains of Afghanistan, the Army has forged a legacy of unmatched courage, untold sacrifice, and unequaled and undying glory. Our soldiers have poured out their blood by the bucketful on Missionary Ridge and Heartbreak Ridge, on the sands of Sicily, Normandy, and the Philippines, and on the dusty streets of Da Nang, Baghdad, and Fallujah. Thanks to their extraordinary service and devotion, 250 years later, America stands tall, America stands proud, and America stands free. We're the hottest country in the world right now.
The hottest country.
Our country will soon be greater and stronger than ever before. Down through history, we've been blessed beyond words by this valiant legion of Army warriors and patriots, heroes and legends. And tonight we affirm with unwavering certainty that in the years ahead and in every generation hence, whenever duty calls and whatever danger comes, the American soldier will be there. No matter the risk, no matter the obstacles, our warriors will charge into battle. They will plunge into the crucible of fire, and they will seize the crown of victory, because the United States of America will always have the grace of Almighty God and the iron will of the United States Army. Congratulations to everybody. We love our country. We've never done better. Thank you. God bless you. God bless the Army, and God bless America. And now I'd like to ask our great First Lady to join me at the podium. Thank you very much, everybody.
Come here, woman. Join me at the podium. Woman, get over here. Silly woman.
Thank you.
Wait, is it Trump's birthday too?
Flown over our nation's capital in free fall during the Army's 250th birthday.
Oh, that's crazy. He's 79, dude. That's kind of badass.
And then it goes into a fireworks show that is about going to do it for us tonight. We actually don't have any live vantage points of protests coming into the newsroom right now.
Adam.
I'm actually going to push from the east to the west.
Ball reset. I have 4 units or 4 spots.
We go to hop on an open panel. I don't know what they're.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I asked the question, what are rockets doing in a school? And then Mel's like, what school is it? What school is it? Like, but Mel will not answer the question.
If we're not getting into school, you should know what school it is. That would be in your source. So what school is it?
The School of
Critical
Israel.
thinking
Who
time.
cares? Just make some shit up.
It's critical. No, it's called.
The
He
School
doesn't
of
know.
Hard
He doesn't.
Knocks. Folks, I just saw a small sedan parked at Walmart. What the? Hey. Car looks. People look. Dude, actually, I noticed so much stuff now. Being a parent, I pay attention. I hate it, dude. You can't unsee it. Notice. You become a noticer. Hold on a second. You hear my daughter crying. Like child endangerment. Opinion, yeah. Who knows?
And folks, push all the way into that.
I need a break, bro.
We're gonna turn whole crowd.
I've been out here for a cool minute, dog.
Find a way out. They're gonna get crowded in that intersection. That's where they're gonna get booked.
I need water, I need food, I need everything I can right now, man. I'm gonna be energized. I'm about to pass out right now.
Oh, that's why. Things need to.
Call 8 and their shift. Do we need to cover Bad Alley if they're running around doubling back? Or do we have a squad that can respond?
No, I'm letting the alley go. If they want to get out to the alley,
In context, I think people need to understand. I think we know might more understand more.
That's kind of what I'm
But
going
here's
for.
the difference between Hamas and Israel. Hamas is not.
I don't know if I want to go there and do that. I don't know if I can talk about. I mean, I can, but actually, you know what? Let's just hop in and see. Hold on a second.
Financially, and Hamas is not held to that same standard because obviously they didn't have access to the global markets.
Yeah, really quick, we got fucking American fucking Nacho on the panel. The man that came out on Tim fucking Pool.
What's up, dude?
congratulations, by the way, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. So I assume that you've kind of been listening in on this debate between Teriak and Melv.
Not really, to be honest. I was like popping in and out. I was watching the protest live stream and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I saw your like No Kings protest, so I figured I would like shoot in here and see what you guys were
Yeah.
popping it up
So
about.
yeah, at this point we're doing an entire debate on Israel and Palestine at this point, because that's a huge one right now at the moment.
Yeah.
Maybe you can give your thoughts out on everything that's happening here, man.
Well, I don't know about the context of the debate, but I mean, I don't want to go to war with
For
Iran.
sure.
I think it's ridiculous. I think getting dragged into another world war would be insane. If we attack Iran and China and Russia step in, then we're fighting like a three-front war against, the U.S. versus all three of them is going to be not
pretty bad.
pretty. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you there, man. I got you there.
That would be my
by the way,
shortest, sweetest version.
Yeah. By the way, so we were looking at a lot of the protests that are happening around the United States at this point. Now, apparently, there's been a lot of there's been some reports. JS Urban Adventures, he's another YouTuber that's live over there in Utah. Apparently, there's been some shootings, 2 people shot, 1 injured over there in Utah. There's been another report from Miguel that looked it up here in real time when we were on the podcast in Pennsylvania, another shooting over there. And I'm not surprised by this type of thing. Leftists obviously are notorious for violence, and I'm kind of not surprised by these shootings here, bro. So what's your thoughts here? I want to ask the panel questions here, and I'll start with you, Nacho. Do you think that this is going to be the end of the protest, or is this going to be going on potentially, hopefully not, 6 months compared to the BLM riots? When does this end, bro?
I mean, I think they want it. I think they want to drag it out. I think it's pretty obvious. You got players like Soros, and now you've got other billionaires that are feeling comfortable openly saying that they're funding this stuff, like the Walmart heiress or whatever it is, the widow or whatever she is. However, she got all her money from Walmart or something.
Yeah, it was because her husband died. That's
right.
How she inherited it, just like every other woman that's rich.
Yeah, so
Oprah.
you've clearly got big players with deep pockets that are comfortable, funding this indefinitely. It seems like. So I don't know if the people have the same steam they did for BLM, but the money's definitely there. And I mean, I don't know. I think they want them. I think they want it to last as long as possible, but we'll see. Seems kind of the whole thing seems kind of silly. Like you're protesting the government doing their job, but
no. Well, the people did vote for this. I know. I think everybody here's in agreement on that, except for Melv. He did go on an entire rant here. Melv, you do believe that the protests are justified, which is fair enough. But as far as the ones that are violent at this point, they are not justified for what they're doing. Correct, Melv?
Depends who the target is.
Well, how are they justified? What do you mean when you say they're justified?
When I'm talking about that, are the rioters justified? Is it justified to the point where because they're doing violence, that because the regime of Donald Trump, that he's, for example, what they say that he's the mustache man. Now, obviously, if we live in a world where we do have a reincarnation of Mustache Man and it is a legitimate case, why not assassinate Mustache Man, right? It would be justified for the violence of the for the rebellion, right? 1976, etc. United States, our founding fathers do a rebellion against England. I think that's justified as well. In other words, is this justified on the case of how they're going about
answer that?
Go ahead.
I think 2 leftists, just that way, just so it's not a point of disagreement. We do see Trump as a threat to democracy, and since democracy is the alternative way, other than revolution and uprising, to achieve the end goals that we seek, and we're losing democracy, we're left with revolution and uprising.
But what have you lost? What democracy? What are you losing?
Well, Trump. God, I'm kind of on the spot with this one. But like with
they always buckle to the simplest of questions. Like, what democracy are you losing?
No,
Trump.
not anybody who's been on Tim Pool has me flustered. Okay, so with Jan 6, a lot of leftists took that as like a legitimate attempt to overthrow the peaceful transfer of power.
Oh boy,
for example.
With what, the Jan 6?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, how does that? How is democracy lost because of that, though?
Oh, I didn't say lost. Being lost.
But so what have we lost, though? How can you justify that claim?
Well, I think Trump's trying to have a loyalist state, and before it was possible that like you could write a letter to like the head of some sort of agency, and because they care more about doing their job than like maybe partisan politics, you could achieve something like maybe with the EPA. But now that it's just going to be a Trump loyalist, the only people who are going to get through to that sort of person are the people who are like, I think climate change is a hoax, right? And
yeah, but you're saying things like trying, and you're saying things like, yeah, I mean, you're saying it like nothing's actually happened yet. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. So how is that's the justification for the riots or the protests or whatever? What has actually happened?
Trump has been installing his loyalists and stuff like that.
I mean, he's installing cabinet members. I mean, he has to install. That's his job. He has to staff the White House. He has to fill roles, and he has to fire people that he doesn't think are doing the correct job. I mean, that's normal for any administration. No administration, like whenever Obama came into office, he didn't keep all of Bush's staff. He fired everybody and hired his own people. That's normal. That's just standard operating procedure.
Well, no, because normally previous presidents would hire people that are considered to be the most fit for the job. Trump's
but that's based on their judgment. That's not. There is no standard per se that's someone is qualified for a job. There's been cases where people have hired really overqualified people for a position and it turned out terribly. This happened in the Vietnam War. They hired guys that were like super number crunchers, statisticians and all this that had
I'm not saying that
these backgrounds in education, and then they failed horribly at the job. So it depends on the judgment of the administration.
You're kind of over-explaining that because that's not what I meant. What I'm saying is like you would generally like since most presidents aren't like an expert in every field. Let's say you had a Department of Agriculture, right? If you've never worked on a farm, you're not going to know who's best suited to run that. But the people who run those departments, especially the former head, might have some insight on who the next best head might be, because that's kind of where experience and stuff comes in. The people who actually work in these zones know who the best people would be to work in them. So most presidents have deferred to those places and not caused a lot of uproar, maybe in like single sectors, but not across many sectors in their entire presidency. This is akin to Putin installing oligarchs and things like the Russian nuclear agency and causing Chernobyl.
Yeah, but even if you grant that like he's maybe picking bad people, how is that like how does that justify the protests?
Well, again, people used to see like being able to let's say you had a head of the EPA who actually cared about the environment and wasn't just like into like anti-science kind of dogma. Oh, God. You could actually reason with them. You could be like, here's the science on this. Here's what the research is showing. If we want an America that has X, we need to do Y. Now, now you literally have to not be a leftist or even a liberal and have to reject climate change to even start to get through to half of these people. And again, that's dramatic.
But that's what I'm saying. Like even if I grant you
keep
that
cutting me off when I say it's a dramatic example, but I think you need to let me finish here. That's a dramatic example, but people seeing that happening to various degrees in almost every aspect of the government will seem like a threat to democracy when that was a normal way that we used to get things done.
But how is it? That's what I'm trying to figure out. How is it a threat to democracy?
What's the point of democracy? Is it to have kind of like a peaceful social order, maybe?
I don't know.
Well, for one, we're not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic.
Right.
So the reason is to have
I
a
just
democracy.
don't know how it's relevant, though. Like I'm still just trying to get at the core of like why are the protests just what aspects of like our democracy are being lost to shake these people to the core to make them run around the streets and that garbage.
Out of fear that I'm rambling. So the whole reason we have a democracy, by the way, is to give people the power. When people feel like they're losing that power, then they're also not going to look to democracy as a way to express their anger and stuff like that.
So are they losing the power, or they just feel like they're losing?
We'd have to go into the granular. So like, for example, with the Supreme Court, technically it's good that presidents can choose Supreme Court justice, et cetera, et cetera. But when the Supreme Court becomes stacked, then and there's particularly the attrition rate has been turned over, so that way it's all new, younger Supreme Court justices, then that really does pose an issue to the other side of something that's supposed to be at least bipartisan. So what my point being that this is a multifarious issue. We can't just point to one thing or another. There are going to be a bunch of things that all are cumulative red flags.
Yeah, but Melv, just really quick, just want to chime in really fast. Melv, when he was asking, are they just feeling like they're helpless, etc.? Remember, the American people voted in Donald Trump, and one thing that he ran on specifically was immigration. So the American people do want illegals out of this country, to where you have liberals right now burning down, cars, etc. We just had 2 shootings, etc. here today. I think that's a rebellion against what the people want, right? So I think it's a feeling based on their reaction today, right? Like,
so
wouldn't you say?
A protest that on its own is not violent would be people coming together to say, no, we actually do want immigration, right? And so that you could take that as a sign that there are at least this many people in America who do want immigration. And really, as much as it's called No Kings, I got it. As much as it's called No Kings, this all started because of the ICE protest. So I think personally, the loudness of the people who want immigrants there's a huge section of people in between, actually. And when you look at like a lot of people who voted for Trump, when you act like if you look at Dean Wilson or Parker Get a Job debate Trump fans on TikTok, when you actually confront them with these issues, they don't support Trump as much as they thought. It's what they didn't realize about Trump that they supported.
I got you there. Really quick, Melv, I had a question. Dog shit content for MAGA chugs. Do you agree with this guy?
I don't even know what that means.
I don't even know.
It's not really a self-contained kind of statement. It's just kind of all over the place. Kind of like dog shit smeared on the wall. By the way, we can, if you want, just so we can be a bit more efficient, just call them trumpets. I feel like it's not even offensive to either side.
Call us fascist. You just whatever you want, whatever comes out. Okay, it really doesn't.
No, I agree. And Jake, when you kind of called this out earlier, I was trying to clarify, but it was just too chaotic. Mm-hmm. But leftists can use fascist as a thought terminating cliche, right? But both sides can do that. So, just make sure that we're both policing each other on this. But when I was saying xenophobia before, like I'm saying, like there are classic signs of this where you don't seem to understand that a lot of Middle Eastern countries that don't have human rights, it's not because they don't want them. It's because radical Islamists, fundamentalists, were able to take power thanks to the power vacuum or installation of them by U.S. governments who thought that if they control the Middle East, it'll give them more access to things like oil, and in general keep like countries that are opposed to the U.S. At bay, just like outnumbered.
Who are you saying was xenophobic?
It was me and Teriak, and earlier in the podcast.
What's wrong with being xenophobic?
Well, for one thing, we're all human. There's really not that much variation between groups of people in that sense.
I mean, there is though.
No, there really isn't.
Yeah, there is. It's
the average IQ of Somalia is 68.
I was going to go there.
I was going to say 65. I think it's 65, Teriak.
I wasn't even going to go there. I was just going to say that basically, like, from a cultural basis, like a moral foundation, the differences between people that are coming from certain nations. I mean, we're still dealing with whatever's going on in Texas right now. We're trying to basically stop a like Qatar funded massive, Muslim, basically Disneyland or whatever the hell you want to call it. They bought hundreds of acres. They're like a $4.1 billion project where they're going to, compound basically for Muslims. They can, operate under Sharia law and stuff. Like, do you think that's a good thing? Like, you think because of the Constitution that we're supposed to just allow that?
Well, for one thing, your Constitution doesn't apply to the Middle East.
I'm saying they're doing that here in Texas. Like, so they're coming from.
Yeah, I was going to address that. I was going to address that. Secondly, people who come to your country to conduct business do so under your laws. Therefore, it is constitutional.
Right. So, but at that point, I don't actually
I'm
care
still
whether
not
it's
done. I'm so sorry.
I'm
so sorry.
I want to put an end to it.
Nacho, no, I can't. The only reason I can't let you is because I got told 3 minutes ago I have 5 minutes left, so I have to wrap this all up and then let you guys find a way to disagree with each other. I'm at work.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I don't have my Furby. That's always the proof that I'm at work. So, when it comes to these groups of people, IQ is not a good measurement of biological bases because, first of all, it does not control for environmental factors. This could these are, again, multifarious issues. This could easily just be a sign that Somalia's education system needs to be improved or that material conditions need to be improved in other aspects of life. When it comes to the differences between people, there's actually more differences within these groups than there are between people. I know that's a little hard to wrap your head around, but just think about it this way. We're so similar that if you actually look for differences, you'll find more differences within a group than differences that are defined along clean, definable lines. The most you can do is find ethnic backgrounds, and then again, finding actual genetic groups that are always there, that are the necessary condition, is more difficult than you may realize. So there's no real biological basis for any of these things. They are just as human as you, and immigrants who come to America want to be American.
Yeah, it's not the point. They don't, though. Damn.
No, but
I do want to say something
here. Makes a bunch of false claims and runs away.
So basically, what I was trying to get at, though, is like, I'm not necessarily even saying it from like a racial perspective, but more of like even just a cultural perspective. We can see clear as day that like a Muslim is not going to get along with us here. Like we're hijabing up and all this other stuff.
Different,
yeah. Okay. So basically, what I was saying is that the cultural differences are the key function. Like you don't want to be inviting people into the country that you know are not here to assimilate and integrate into society. And it's nice to say, oh, well, they just want to come here and be Americans. That sounds good on paper, but it's not the reality. It's not true. They don't want to come here. They want to come here and build an enclave, balkanize, invite more of them themselves into the country, build and build and build. And you can look at the UK and you can look across Europe right now. They're dealing with this where they have, entire counties and towns that have basically been taken over by Muslim governors in them, and they're taking over. And I mean, it's only a matter of time. They're just going to keep, pushing for laws that are supporting Muslim culture, and eventually, everybody's going to have to stop 3 times a day to pray or whatever the hell it is. It's like at that point when you can hold on, I'll try to land the plane. But when you can realize that okay, these people clearly don't want to integrate with society. They are looking to instill their values or whatever and change the fabric of the country intentionally. I think it's okay to then be like, okay, we need a ban on all immigration from.
Right.
Yeah, because all that's going to cause massive division, like we see in the United States. But my question to you, what's the most common baby name in the UK?
Muhammad. We already know that.
Yep. That's pretty nuts, sad, especially the fact this is the UK. And the trouble is that what Mel don't understand is the fact that if we don't have assimilation into our culture, we're going to have divisiveness in this country. We're going to have problems down the line.
Yeah, look, well, go ahead, Miguel. Finish
and
up.
Plus, we're a constitutional republic because obviously the fallacy of democracy. Well, guess what? The people could just vote the democracy away. Well, we have guardrails. Well, we can vote that away too.
Yeah, dude. Even when it comes to, by the way, Nacho, you and I are Hispanic. Just to make that clear here, I will even say this: in the '80s, I think it was Reagan that did the amnesty, where he gave amnesty to around like 2 million illegal immigrants over there in California. Now you have to realize that at this point they're around that second generation, third generation children here right now. If you look at the LA riots, you do see a lot of these Hispanics that are legal here, but they're waving around American flags and they're saying America's bad, and they have this type of connection, especially to their parents or whether it be their grandparents, that my grandparents came in here as immigrants, illegal, etc. And well, my grandparents are good people. Why are we deporting people in this country that could potentially be an emotional attachment to people like their grandparents or their mothers, right? My argument here is that even when you have people that are third generation immigrants, like or children of immigrants, you still see those individuals taking the side of wanting, sympathizing with these illegals coming in here because they just want a better life. Not all, but you do see that with these LA riots. And I've ran into that plenty of times because I'm in an area where it's 90%, 95% Hispanics, and it's very much blue, to where they have grandparents, they have and Hispanics, blue. Parents, they have siblings that are in this country illegally, and yeah, they sympathize with these type of policies, man. And I think that's also a problem because I get it where it's called a melting pot. But the reality is that a lot of these individuals, even these illegals that are having kids, they're not assimilating correctly. They're still they still have that Mexico pride. Even though Mexico didn't do jack shit for these individuals, they still have that emotional tie.
Dude. Spain did more for Mexicans than Mexico.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Real quick, Jake. If you click that link I put in the back, it's that town that I think Damon has kind of like told us about it, the Hamtramck, and it has the timeline there.
I do want to say too, the melting pot term. Yeah, we have the melting pot, but they forget the melting part because when you melt, you're supposed to melt into our culture.
Exactly. And that's my point.
Yeah,
that's my point.
I'm tired of fucking going to the grocery store and everybody like passing by
speaking Spanish.
Not even just Spanish. Like I'll catch like Arabic, I'll catch like Chinese people doing. It's just like I'm fucking tired of that shit. Like,
dude, by the way, they have
any
no
other
incentive.
country. You're gonna feel uncomfortable if you don't know the language, the culture. It's gonna be very hard for you. Now you can just come into and it's like press. I'm tired of fucking pressing one. You know what I mean? I have press one fatigue. Yeah. All right.
Press one for English.
Yeah, I'm not pressing one for fucking English, dude. You're fucking learning English, dude. That's what's happening.
Exactly.
I don't care what language you're speaking. You're gonna come here. You're gonna learn the language. You're gonna learn the culture. You're gonna assimilate, or you're gonna fucking go home.
And that's my point. Even with the third generations, etc., they still support that type of Mexican culture or Mexico because of their parents, etc. They have a tie to that, and we even see this in politics, right? When you have black people in politics, let's be honest, they still sympathize with fucking Africa, or let's say the Jews that are in politics. They still sympathize with Israel. Any type of like assimilation of the roots of their country, we usually see that bleeding in to their ideology, even though they're Americans, right? And I think a lot of people are really bad at that. Go ahead, Tarek.
But Jake, if you scroll down to that timeline there, go to 2013, right? 2013, the city becomes a Muslim majority. The people of the city becomes a Muslim majority. Then it goes into emergency management. Then it becomes the first American city to elect a Muslim majority city council. So to get the majority of the power in the city council, then it goes to emergency management. Then it elects the first American city with all Muslim government, and then the next year, Hamtramck's city council enacts pride flag restrictions and approves animal sacrifices for religious purposes.
Holy shit!
So congratulations.
Crazy.
What fucking city are we in?
I haven't even seen that before.
Hamtramck, Michigan.
Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan has a huge Muslim population there, huh? I think it's like close to about 500,000 of them already.
Yeah, and in Europe and in the European countries, it's even worse because those countries are the size of one of our states. So once you start to collectivize in a country like that, I mean, it's so much quicker. Everything's so much faster. You know what I mean?
It's not just Hamtramck too.
Ann Arbor on the state level here, it's a whole lot easier to get things passed.
Yeah.
I also want to add that also Ann Arbor and Dearborn is also Muslim majority as well in Michigan. And there's also a huge Somali population in Minneapolis as well.
Yeah, for sure. Mel, I thought you had to go to work, bro. Like you had 5 minutes. I don't know what
talking about. We're not talking about.
But this is the thing.
First of all, it was, but that's a different conversation. But
one sec, because Mel will make the point. It's like, oh, immigrants make America better. But like literally, because Mel is pro LGBT, this whole thing of like, yeah, bring them in. It shows like as soon as the Islamists get control in the government, they will go hardline against all these motherfuckers that are voting them in. It's the likes of Mel who voted for this shit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Teriak's 100% correct. Like it's the reap what you sow fallacy there. Women voting in men into women's sports. Now they're complaining about it.
Yeah,
like, what the fuck is
one.
this? What the fuck is clown world we're living in here, Teriak? Good point on that, dude.
I do also want to say for the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, they also could reap what they sow because obviously they kept supporting these left-wing causes for years on end and try to blame the right for everything. But now the left wing has become anti-Jewish.
And they funded a lot of that shit. They pushed all this Marxism into the fucking into the institutions, and then look where it got them.
And then, like, you see Netanyahu's like screaming and blaming the critics of Israel for what happened at the embassy. Like, bro, your organizations funded this crap. You guys funded these left-wing organizations for years because of Mustache Man coming back in the right. That never happened. And now, guess what? There's people that you trying to fight against, the monsters that obviously were eradicated 80 years ago. Now it's on the left. They created the monsters. Mel created the monsters too.
Yep. Yeah, you reap what you sow, man.
Exactly. That's my big rant right now, is the fact that I get so annoyed with these stupid left wings organizations. And it's someone like Mel. Like I get it. Her heart might be his or her heart might be in the right place, but literally don't even know what the hell they're supporting. They're bringing in the worst type of things and the worst type of culture. And for the ADL and other left-wing Jewish organizations, I get it. Your heart is in the right place. You want to make sure that never comes back, but you end up creating monsters out of there. They're reckless. They're completely freaking reckless in what they have done, and now they have to reap what they sow.
It's you can't operate off of emotions. I mean, I have a heart. I'm a Christian. I feel for the general humanity, but we can't. If you take this crazy immigration to its extreme, I don't know what they think they want out of it. Like, are we just supposed to hand out, passport, like immigration papers to the rest of the fucking world and just invite the entire world into our country? Like, everybody just has because of stupid fucking Enlightenment garbage. We've just created this idea that we have this fucking magic dirt, and as soon as you step foot on it, you're an American now. Here's your papers. And we just think that the country's going to carry on the way it was. Like, the country is the way it was because of the demographics, because of the culture, because of the religion that it was founded upon. And we're going to change all of that shit. We're going to take all the ingredients and throw them away and add in all this other shit. And then we're just going to expect that it's going to carry on being the same thing. These people are facing the wall, they're going to beg for people like us who are speaking out. When these people are forced to convert to Islam, you know what I mean? Or speaking Chinese or whatever the hell happens because we're pulled into World War III. They're going to be begging they're going to be like, oh shit, this is what they were talking about. They were right.
Yeah.
Why did we argue?
As I come back to this, what I said, they create these monsters. Now they have to face the monsters that they created.
Yeah, reap what you sow, right, Miguel? That's exactly. By the way, Abe Dinkus, thank you for stopping in, my friend.
Of course.
Glad you finally joined us. It took you a while.
I know.
What's your thoughts on everything, man? I'm glad you have that you're on here.
Well, I would say that the West doesn't realize that Islam is a political system first and a religion second, generally speaking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you allow enough people who do not assimilate or have some kind of reformation in their belief systems, they will come in, they will sweep whatever nation that they're in, and they will take it over by force. Or, like they say, the womb is the greatest weapon. So, I mean,
That's true.
Or
They're
they
gonna
use the
outfuck the
version.
population. They're literally gonna outfuck the population, reproduce it.
Yeah,
Take it
I mean,
over.
that's the one leg up that conservatives do have on the leftists
Liberals.
and all this
Yeah.
Marxist garbage. They're just aborting all their children, you know. But even then, like I don't think we're gonna, like you're saying, I don't think we'll be able to compete with the Muslims. So we do have to stop somewhere, you know. And if you want to call that, you know, fascism, I don't really care then, and I'm a fascist.
Well, as I said,
This is why I showed. This is why I showed Hamtrak, because this is what happens. Like, because it was literally the LGBT and the lefties that got those Muslims in, and the Muslims like, yeah, Habibi, you get us in, and we get everything for you. First thing they done, ban pride flags.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Initiating
what
all this like
lickety split.
Based.
Like, dude, you're getting thrown off a roof, you idiot. Like,
That's fucking crazy, dude. By the way, you need to,
LGBTQIA off the roof, dude. See you later, you fucking
Nacho,
idiot.
you need to see the debate that Teriak had with Melvin earlier, bro. It was fucking wild. Cause he asked that direct question, and it was fucking crazy, dude. I'm gonna clip it and I'll put it on there. It was a really fun exchange.
I actually have something to say about what they were talking about earlier. This whole thing of like, because they're living in squalor, they're underdeveloped, and if we gave them the opportunity, they would change their outlook and their mindset. The problem is Saudi Arabia behind? Is
No.
United Arab Emirates behind?
No.
Because I'm pretty sure they don't allow any of that there either, and they are developed and doing just fine. So, like, what happened?
In fact, you just look at Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, and Qatar. They're pretty much way ahead of time compared to pretty much even the Western world. So,
have you guys ever read 1984? The book?
Oh yeah,
yeah, of course, classic.
These people are essentially all of these people are the character Syme. You know what I mean? I don't know if you remember the character Syme.
We live in the Venn diagram.
But for anyone who's listening that doesn't know, Syme in the book is like character that's like super pro the government, and they're like he's a redefiner of words. So that's all what he does all day. He spends his days like redefining all the terms and stuff, and he's like really brilliant guy, super intellectual, whatever. Well, he's one of the first people to get killed. Like, he gets eventually, once he's done, you know what I mean, doing the work for the state, they kill him because he knows too much. Yeah. He knows all the original definitions of the words. So now that he's done redefining all the words, they kill him. And that's essentially what all these people are. Like, all these people are just convenient, you know, players.
Scapegoats.
Useful idiots.
Useful idiots inviting all the chaos in. And then once it's all here, you're going to be the first one up against the wall. Like,
Absolutely.
I don't understand how you don't see it.
It's exactly what happened with the red shirts in Maoist China. That was the revolutionary army, essentially, that went through the streets and forced people to adhere to communism, and drew the lines in the social sand to say, you know, these are the good people because they're communists, and these are the bad people because they refuse communism, and started all of the struggle sessions and doing all that shit. And what happened when the revolution was over, Mao had secured power, he took all the red shirts out and put them up against the wall, 100%, every damn single one of them.
Or like the Russian army when they defeated the mustache man's army. When they went back home, they were executed.
Yep. Which is hilarious because, you know,
time,
according to a communist, you're talking about two extremely different things, fascism and communism, but they act exactly the same way.
By the way, steel person, that I love
Mic
that
check.
phrase.
Sorry.
I the first time I ever heard steel person,
Dang.
which
I didn't
is
know
like
my
an
mic was so
alternative to
quiet the
straw
whole
man.
time.
Steel man.
Or steel man. I'm sorry, steel man.
Yeah.
I'm sure he says straw person, right?
Probably.
I just thought it was hilarious. I'm just like, steel person. That's great.
Speaking of redefining language, right? We can't have gendered fucking language.
We were literally on that subject right here, and even Melv over here.
Wait,
is
put it
also
back up. What did it
redefining-
say? Sorry, I missed it.
Yeah. Okay. So Melv, because we've debated Melv several times here on this channel. Melv always refers to strawman and steelman, right? As steel person or straw person, etc. Right? Because he's being
Right, he has to be politically
gender-
correct, you know,
Politically
gender
correct, yeah.
neutral. You know what's not going to matter when your friends are, you know, getting drone striked in front of you in World War III?
Yeah,
Fucking
pronouns.
pronouns and
No
politically
fucking
correct
shit.
terminology, like, oh no, they just got blown up in front of me. Like, we need a medic. They're down. Like, they're split in half in 2 pieces. Like,
Yeah, when the
Yeah, I'm
wolves start
sure- I'm
knocking at
sure
the
he-
fucking door, goes out the window, bro. When the wolves start knocking at the door, goes
When
out the
it's when you're on survival mode, none of that stuff matters.
This
I
is
don't thi-
exactly
don't
why I
think they
said people in the
realize,
West.
Like, I used to think that a lot of these people were like fear-mongering, but the fast, like, now literally Iran is like making, you know, currently for the past
Crazy.
like 12 hours.
Yeah.
You know, and it's literally on the doorstep, and you still have these crazy people willing to defend. You know what I mean? It's what are we doing? What use is all? You know,
Well,
when
that's
shit
why I
really
keep saying
kicks
that
off,
people in the
what-
West don't understand.
what use are you going to be?
Yep.
Yeah, the wild thing is that they're basically orchestrating their own destruction. Well, they want to bring down the West with it, because eventually these people are going to come conquer us. But then again, they believe that we should be conquered anyways. That's the problem.
Wait, does this Mel guy really not think that? Like, does he not know that, like, Iran is in a? Do you not know that
Yeah,
it's
hot war
literally
just
on the
broke out.
doorstep? Like, explain yourself. Like, I don't know how you don't.
It's
No-
not
not
your
only that-
doorstep.
What's happening?
You're just gullible.
China is allied with Iran. Russia allied with Iran. If
Yeah.
we step foot in Iran, the high probability that they're going to retaliate.
Well, this is the key thing. The key thing is to let the Iranian people overthrow that regime. It's very important that America doesn't send in a single soldier.
Change-
That this comes
See,
from
that's-
within the regime.
Why not just say the quiet part out loud? Why not
Yep.
just say that you want society collapse? And whatever reason, I don't know why you think that you're going to rise from the end. Why not
You're not
just
strong
say that?
enough.
Just be honest about it. Maybe
It's the
some
truth.
change
It's
will
the-
give you something to actually hold on to.
The point of the
Stop
revolution
using
is the
coded
revolution,
language and
Nacho.
just say it with
We
your
gotta
chest.
burn everything down, and then
The wheel
eventually,
must-
from the
I
ashes,
know,
will
but they're
rise
too
the
cowardly
great
to
communist
say
fucking
it. Just
utopia.
say
It's
it, and then we can actually have a better conversation about it.
More nefarious than that. I genuinely think that these are like the Joker
You can't
character.
say you can't say that, like, you basically just in coded language said that, you know, you're okay with change after we're talking about, you know, apocalyptic World War III settings or
Oh, yeah.
whatever the hell's going to happen, and then you're saying, but I care about human rights. No, you fucking don't. No, you don't.
I want to make sure no one is
What are you talking
misgendered
about?
anywhere, Nacho.
Yeah,
That's what's really important.
No,
I don't want to
Mel's okay. Mel's okay with throwing gay people off the roof so long as you call them by the right gender.
Right, dude. Just,
You know,
hey,
you
just
know, it's
gender me
funny though.
correctly when you throw me
Human
off the
rights has only been a thing for 80 years since the ending of World War II. We did not have human rights laws throughout the entire time in history.
Because
It's only been
we're
around
at the
for 80
point where
years.
it's like, oh, it's like the whole like cycle where it's like it's not happening. Well, maybe it's only happening sometimes, and then it's like, well, it's happening and it's good. That's where Mel's at.
Yeah,
it's
crazy.
happening and
Yeah,
it's
that's
good.
where Mel's at. Yeah.
But also,
It's amazing.
I support human rights.
It's amazing to
I
live in
wanna
the
see
first
the world
world.
burn. But also,
I support human rights, by the way.
also,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah, supports human rights while screaming for intifada on the streets. You know,
right?
Yo, wild, bro. Wild.
Dude,
man.
the funniest thing to me in the world is the fucking gays for Palestine. That shit's ridiculous.
care about human
That's
rights.
crazy. Yeah,
unless
well,
it's your rights,
Mel's one of those.
You're gonna die.
Yeah. Melv's one of those, the gays for Palestine, etc. But just to be clear, just for, you know, disclosure, I really do appreciate Melv coming onto the panel and
I do too, to be
expressing the
fair.
feeling. Dude, big time, man. Melv, I'll give him a lot of credit. That motherfucker is willing to debate anybody, no matter how, you know, he's willing to come on.
He's an attention whore, is all it is, man.
Well,
But whatever.
Hey, you know what? Hey, at least we
Somebody
give him
called
credit
Mel,
for that.
Nine Tails. Is that the same like Nine Tails that used to be around politics?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
I think we may
Pokemon.
have been on.
I mean,
Perhaps. Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah.
it takes balls to fight out your points for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So,
For sure. But bro, I give that motherfucker a lot of credit.
I
for
just
sure.
wish they would be honest. Like, I mean, just be like the leftist, Nick Flint. Like, say it with your chest.
Say nigger. Say nigger.
Just
do that.
You're gonna get in trouble. You're gonna get in trouble.
I couldn't help it. I had to drop it. It's my panel, bro.
We're all cooking.
Don't worry about it. It's my fucking show.
I mean, just be honest about
but
it.
yeah,
Don't-
seriously.
Don't
I
hide
mean,
around.
just say it with your chest. Just be like, yeah, I want to see the world burn because I want my people to come out on top or whatever. Like,
And
least be
if you do,
honest.
and to be honest, if you do want to have that, you better be armed and trained to the T, because everybody else is gonna come for it too.
I'm a fascist communist that wants to whatever, all LGBTQIA, whatever the fuck.
Nice.
We need a queer king.
But it isn't even like I said, like it's basically like the Joker mentality. It's like Joker where where he got the money and then he just burned the whole fucking pyramid off it. Because he doesn't give a fuck about the money. It's like the same thing with Mel. Like Mel will say, I care about human rights. But if you genuinely care about human rights, like you'll be all for like destabilizing Iran and all this kind of shit.
Yeah.
Because like Mel will say the same thing. We need to take their street. We need to revolt against the American government. Well, then, hang on a second. What about Iran? Because there is no sense. It's just literally we just want to see the West burn. We want to burn down the West.
I do.
Yeah, I just want to cause as much pain to everyone else as possible. There is no plan. There's nothing going on here. It's just pure. I just want to see destruction.
I do find it odd, though, that we're having all these protests and craziness across our country at the same time as a war is now kicking off in high gear in the Middle East. Like, it's kind of all at once, and it kind of makes you step back and go, wait a minute.
Who's coordinating this? Who's putting it all together?
This is why we brought up the college funding and where's all this money with the colleges, because like you see across these college campuses, this is where all the protest is and all this kind of shit. And this is the same strategy that was employed in Iran in the 70s. How they overthrew the Shah and got the mullahs in. Like that's how they done it. They basically went through the colleges, got the protests, and we need revolution, all this kind of shit. And the communists sided with the Islamists, and then you have 50 years of shithole Iran. That's basically the same blueprints trying to be executed in America, and that's why you're seeing Bibi decapitating the head of the military. Like this shit's over. We're not putting up with this shit.
Well, Mel, when it comes to supporting rights, you're gonna have to support regime anyways, because obviously by yourself, you're not gonna be able to bring smoke to that regime yourself. You're gonna need to have some sort of backers. Like you want the smoke.
Miguel, they'll have an army of transgenders and they can just take over Iran. Don't worry about it. All right,
well, I'm like, you know what
the funny thing is? Do you know what the funniest thing, Jake, is?
Transgenders and
You can't just dictate
Iran,
rights either.
Iran is the second top country for the most transgender surgeries.
Holy shit!
Do you want to know why?
Because
they'd rather them be trans. They rather them look like a woman than actually have gay people.
That is actually true. That is actually true.
It's against the law to be gay. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually know for a fact that's true because there was a back when me and Teriak were doing Project VealPod pre-Andrew Wilson interview, there was an individual that was a Muslim that actually gave that information to me that they support transgendering men that believe themselves to be women and live their life as a woman. So thanks Teriak for bringing that up. That's a memory right there. That is 100% facts.
Yeah. All I'm saying is the fact that if Mel wants to smoke and these trans want to smoke, they better have the guns. They better have the weapons they need, because they're gonna come right back at them. Like that's how everybody want to be gangster. Everybody want to talk gangster until the music stops.
What happened?
The Eminem.
Well, and
what happened to Medina?
The people that do the war, you know what I mean? Like the people who go to war tell you they'll be the first people to tell you that you don't want. They'll be like, I
100%.
don't want to do that again. Like,
I will tell you that. Yes.
Yeah.
All the people who are
Abe's a
online,
former
like,
Marine.
oh yeah, I'll fuck you, like, yeah, talk all this shit, are the first ones that are gonna freeze up.
What they're LARPing in the street,
They'll
and
be the ones
they think
literally shell
they think
shocked
that
in the field, like.
They think that standing up against riot police in the streets with a sign that says, trans rights are human rights is going to fucking war. That's what they think war is.
Yeah.
When Marines start popping off with M16s and artillery and fucking mortar shells, it's
You're
gonna be a
against
whole
my
different
human
fucking
rights.
story. Yeah.
You're against my human rights now. Obviously, this is tight. It's a regime of the mustache man. It's absolutely insane.
I would
watching these leftists.
I would tell everyone
I'm
they
the
don't.
mustache man.
They don't want civil war. They don't want war. I promise you, no one actually wants that. They think they do. They do.
Yeah.
They think they do. They think they can handle it. They think that it's going to be great fun or it's going to be amazing. No, I promise you it won't be.
You know what's funny? So I live in a small town. I used to live in the big city. I lived in the ghettos. I know how like the life is living in the trenches. The funny thing is, it was like somebody said, "We're coming for you to work, small town." I like, okay, go right ahead. Almost everybody here is armed. You probably not to survive last 5 seconds.
Try that in a small town, yeah. Where they're a lot more united, especially in the rural areas.
went to go
They're
see that
way more
guy.
conservatives. Did you?
Yeah.
He came nearby. Or and
Who was
some
that,
guy
Toby
came-
Keith?
Yeah, some guy came through the shop and was like, "Listen, no way, dude." Like hell.
Nice.
Bought
Yeah,
an
try
arm
that
and
in a
off.
small town.
That's good.
Nice, man.
I don't
Nice.
remember half of it.
Wasted.
Yeah. I wasn't trying to, but like they charge so
Hispanic.
much for beer. It was insane.
Oh god,
And
I
then
know it's terrible.
bought- and then-
$8
and
a
then
beer or
I-
something.
And then I bought it, and then I was like, "Fuck, dude!" Like, I'm
Bro,
not
when
gonna
I
be
go to
able
those
carry this
events-
out of here, so I drank it.
Dude, when I go to those events, I drop about $100 on those fucking
Yeah.
beers,
I
man.
spent much money.
I know.
Here, I was
I
like,
know.
what? It was like
Here's what you gotta do, man. You gotta
That's
find a hole in the
$6
fence and
for
put
a
a
six-pack or something.
put a
Crazy.
cooler
Pregame.
just outside the hole, and then
Pregame.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't.
or that,
I don't
or
go to
pregame.
concerts. I mean, dude, I'm a fucking dad now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I never went when I was younger because I didn't have any money, dude. I was poor whenever I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. When I was a younger kid, dude, I never went to events. Like I was a poor kid.
Yeah.
But now that I have money, I have a house, everything like that. Yeah, dude, I already have shit planned out.
Yeah,
I'm
now
gonna
you're
be
like, I
in
don't want to
Houston.
get like, why would I?
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna be pre-gaming before the show, and pre-gaming before the football games and shit
Dude,
like
what-
that. It's
what
Just
was
get you
that
an Uber
event?
down there and an Uber back. You'll
What
be
was
fine.
that event that you were at where you were like, where you did the sit down with Destiny person?
That was in
that
Detroit, Michigan.
Was that
Yeah.
just like like an open, come up and do it,
So-
or were you part of that?
Yeah. So the way they
I
did
just
it
saw the
was.
clip and I didn't.
Yeah, so the way they did it, his name's Travis Pangberg. He's the one. He's Canadian, by the way. He's the one that's doing the event all around the United States. He's gonna hit every single state in America, all 50 states, and he's gonna be doing an event where it's either Destiny or people that he hires that are leftists that can go on the stage and debate anybody that wants to debate them.
Oh, sure.
But they have to pay, right? They have to pay a little bit extra compared to the audience tickets.
Who pays?
So you
like,
just do
the
that.
People who want to go up.
Yeah, yeah. Now the difference here is that Travis Pangberg, he did like a little fucking event on his X account that I entered in, and they paid for my flight over there to Detroit to do a debate with Destiny. So I had no choice. I did have a choice, but he sent me the money, and I was just like, yeah, I'm down to do it. Fuck
Dude,
it.
that's
I didn't even think
literally
it was
what
real.
happened with the Tim Pool shit.
Did it really?
Yeah, they were like, something fell through, and they were like, they need somebody. They'll pay for everything, and I was like, well, I fucking have to do it now. Like, what
How
the
did you get the connection with Tim Pool in the first place, bro? That's my question here. If you can disclose that. If you can disclose that, you don't
I don't
have
think
to.
he cares. But I also got. It's funny because I also got reached out to by like 3 other people, because I
Really?
used to do because I used to do a bunch of these panels and stuff back in the.
Yeah. Twitch
So-
poll.
You going on Joe
yeah,
Rogan
Twitch
soon?
poll. Yeah, no. But
Rogan would be awesome.
I used to do a bunch of these like Twitch panels like way back in the day. I just like deactivated my Twitch. That's probably where my biggest fault. But I don't.
It's such a fucking
I don't like the
commie
people-
spurgfest over there,
yeah, I
dude.
don't like
There's
the
nothing but
people,
commies.
The followers, everything just fucking sucks. The whole thing just seems designed to push
Mhm.
everything. The Overton window is far.
Absolutely.
And I don't want anything to do. Kind of realized
I
that,
got
and I
you.
was like, not a big. But anyways,
Yeah.
I used to do those like big panels. Like I've been on panels with like Don Burke, Destiny,
Yeah.
and Bosch, and
Dylan
Rob
Burns.
Moore and Dylan Burns, and
Yeah.
Stevie,
Yeah.
Megan, and all these people back. So I actually got reached out to by the politics team. All the people.
Nice.
And I was like,
So
I'm
you-
already talking to him.
Yeah, so that's good, man. That's really good. It's funny because I spoke to Rob Noor. Rob Noor called me a while back ago, like last week or something like that. I was talking to him, and I told him, I'm like, hey, are you planning to like go out to? Because Rob Noor recently got hired by the Crucible, so he's
Yeah.
doing a full-time
Cheers
streamer.
to him.
Yeah, big cheers to him, bro. I am a big
Deserves it.
Rob Noor. Yeah, big time, dude. I'm a big Rob Noor supporter here, over here on Project
Same
Yo Podcast.
here. I actually
Yeah.
I actually spoke to him on his show at least twice already, twice, 3 times.
Excellent.
Me and Andrew have been saying that for a long time. Is that, you know, if Rob could,
Rob doesn't get
like,
enough exposure.
Yeah, if Rob could just grind it out.
Oh, he's dude. I told Rob this. I said, dude, you are an up and coming debater that needs to get out there, bro. Like you have some type of talent that
He's seasoned, man. He's a veteran.
super
He's a vet
seasoned,
now.
big time, bro. But yet he doesn't have the following that I
Right,
think he
it
just
seems that way because
Yeah.
you're like, oh,
With him joining the Crucible really helps a lot.
You're talking about
Oh,
Rob?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Rob's
yeah.
a beast.
He is, man.
That man could go toe to toe with anyone. He's a
Absolutely.
monster.
I mean, he made
He's ta-
Destiny
I've-
rage quit, so that should
Yeah,
be more
I've
than
seen him.
enough.
I've seen him take on entire rooms full of people that are against his point of
Yep.
view, man.
I was,
Constantly, all the time.
you know that stupid Destiny clip that he put out like ages ago, like a couple years ago, where
Yep.
it was like, I trapped Rob Noor
Yep.
doing the trans brain into the body or something, made him pro trans. I was actually there. I was actually sitting there. I was in that conversation, listening to it.
And
They
laughing.
were just going back and forth. Well, we did. That was after a John Burke panel. Going
Drunken debates. Those
yeah,
were awesome.
The drunken debates. We're just like going after that. Still going. Dude, they went for like 7 hours, dude.
Jeez,
So it was like
Yeah, it
So
happens.
it was like we did the 3-hour panel, and then Bob and Destiny went at it for like another 3. And I was like chiming in there a little bit, but it was funny at the time.
Yeah.
Dude, I
With
used to
those
be
two in
such
the
a
room, it's
fucking-
hard to get a
I
word
used
in
to be such a-
edgewise, man.
Oh, big time.
My positions were so. But I was just also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always just watched from the crowd, from the chat and such.
I just
Yeah.
jumped in head first. The only reason
You
I
know-
ever got into politics to begin with is because I was.
Yeah,
It's just
congrats.
it's just the nature of the beat.
Yeah.
Schools, what blah blah blah, like what taxes are, where are we gonna buy a home? By the nature of that, then you're like, okay, what are the best? Ever.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then you're
you're
like,
focusing
okay,
on
well,
that.
why are those things the way they are?
Right. Because of Republican leadership for the most part. That's
Because
what
of
attracts you.
Yeah, because. I gotta know.
Yeah.
So
How come the crime rate's so low in this town and then so high in that one? For sure, man.
yeah.
What,
You know
what
what's
was
funny?
it? The first month Rob went full time. He made fucking $10,000 fucking dollars, dude. That shit blew my mind. Yeah. I've been modding over there for a few years, but all
No.
this shit has just happened recently. It's been really
Bro,
awesome.
I've seen you in the chat with Rob's live stream. I've seen you plenty of times in the chat. You always say what's up to me. But
Yeah,
I'll tell you this.
EOD's
it's-
an OG too. EOD's been around.
Yeah.
I knew
Cool, that was
EOD
long-
since
way back
CTV
then.
days. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say
5,
you
6 years
guys
ago.
are actually really seasoned when it comes to the space of the debate space. I'll tell you this, bro. I'm so brand new to this debate space. Nacho, you've been there for a while. You've been there for a while. Abe, I'm pretty sure you have too.
I'm
But
just sneaky.
sneaky. But nevertheless, I'm
Harriet's just
super
a
brand new to
Irish
it.
leprechaun
Yeah.
or whatever the hell.
Yeah,
he's
Harriet-
guarding the gold at the
He's
rainbow.
hide-
is what
he's
he's
hiding
doing.
under a pot of gold.
With his Lucky Charms and
For reals, bro. But like when I got introduced to this, I was just like, holy shit, this is an entirely new world. Like when I was streaming for 1 year, I did videos for 1 year, and then I got the Andrew Wilson interview, and then all of a sudden these streamers that came in or individuals kind of introduced me more and more. That's when I met Nacho as well. Into that space, and I was just like, holy shit, there's an entire history here that I never even fucking knew about, bro. The lore, the lore.
So I was in the Discord with you earlier, Nacho. I was gonna say hi in there, but I got really busy here at the house, so I didn't get a chance to. But yeah.
Oh, you mean Crucible's Discord?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always a shit ton of people in there.
Yeah, there is.
Big time.
Yeah, but it's crazy. That lore, and it's funny too because you'll start to feel that which luckily I think is probably good for you. You got kind of linked up with Andrew, got like.
Oh yeah.
His community. That's a good community to be.
For sure.
What happens to a lot of right wingers, because these leftists, especially on like Twitch and panel space, they can't get right wing.
Oh.
Not because right wingers don't want to engage, just because we know the game. The game is panel up, you set topics, all the left. Right wingers brought in like literally 20.
Sure.
It's in like, oh, you're basically just getting brought on to get like.
Right.
So,
yeah, unless
you know, which is fine. Like if you want to go, if you're seasoned, you just go in there and clown them all.
Of course,
you know, or you know the game. Like that's the whole process. The whole Twitch panel. So weird, dude.
Big time. You know, it's funny. Gavin McGinnis, I know he runs his show. He was actually talking about how it's very difficult to get left wingers onto his show to the point where he actually has to pay them. If he asks a right winger to get on, they do it no matter what. In fact, they don't even ask who's the leftist on the panel. They don't even ask for that. But left wingers,
That's what I did with Tim Pool. I had no idea. He was just like, "Do you even want to come on?" I was like, "Fight."
Yes.
Yeah. So Andrew Wilson's been trying to debate Sam Cedar. Sam Cedar was like, "Oh, I'm going to debate Andrew Wilson."
And
yeah,
that's
he's
so
checking
funny
out.
because Sam Cedar back in the day did that thing where he like ambushed Steven Crowder. I don't know if you guys know.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
I remember watching that, and I was like, "You little weak."
Yep.
Dude,
Big
and it's
time,
funny
dude.
because he went around the internet saying that Steven Crowder's afraid to debate him. But if you look at the numbers during that time, dude, swear, you look at the numbers, Sam Cedar had 1 million subscribers. But if you look at his videos, he was only averaging about 15,000 views per fucking video.
And he wasn't getting
No
support,
traction.
like, you know what I mean, like super chats and stuff. It's funny, a lot of right wing channels get huge super chat. I think Crucible actually was like a number 2 past like a year or two. Super chat.
Yeah.
It's like
They're one of the most
period
entertaining
for all
channels
live
in
streams. I'm
the
like,
world.
That's
Yeah.
crazy, man.
You sit in that chat for a little bit, you'll see it too. It's just like, holy
But that's
crap.
the thing, and that's what the one thing that's why I really like, you know, was keen to be around her community and kind of help organize or kind of, you know, work behind, help part of that, because the people there are different. Like, I've been in like the leftist boards, to be in like all of them. They're on 24/7.
Yep.
I don't understand how. No, there are
Teams.
some of you that are like engineers or programmers. Some of those types. Majority of them are like, they're just succubus, living off. They're just not doing anything, especially during.
Well,
all
can
these
I
people
add
are
my
basically
reason
employed.
for such
But
a big difference?
Well, on the Crucible, it's funny because on the Crucible server, it's dead. Like for like all the working hours, like 9 to 5, it's dead. You know
It's
what I mean?
dead. Yeah,
There's
yeah,
like a
because
there's like a
they have
core
jobs.
Group. There's like a core group, and then there's some people that are like, you know, overseas or something. They're different.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. But yeah, once 5 o'clock hits, then it pops off. Everybody's on for the. I mean, people will come in and out at the night, and it's like because everybody has a real job. You know,
Exactly.
people will go on.
Yeah.
People will just be not around for like. I'm one of those. Like,
You were
you know,
gone for
I'm
like
gone
3
for like
months.
a year, dude. Like, fucking, you know, I'm gone from this space for a year and a half, 2 years, because I have a job, because I have a career in, I have a family, part of the thing. So it's like
family comes first, man, for
yeah,
sure.
dude, and it's not, and it's like the, bro, like guys understand. At least for me, I can like, not call somebody for, I don't know, like my best friend from school. I cannot call him for. I call him up and I'm like, grab a beer, and then
You leave right where you left off.
Yeah, yeah. It's
I
that
have a
type
friend
of
like
like
that too.
personalities,
Yeah.
those kind of people.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
well, you didn't talk.
It's funny.
Yeah.
That's very
funny.
female shit.
It's funny you say that. Like I contacted a friend from the Marine Corps like I don't know, last April, and I hadn't seen him in over 20 years. So it was like, I call him up. I'm like, hey, I'm coming through your area. You want to hang out? And he's like, oh, yeah. I got a plot of land. You guys can camp out there. And we'll hang out. And then we just did barbecues the whole time I was there. It's like, I haven't talked to the guy in like over a decade. And the last time it was digital. And it's like, it was perfect.
Yeah, Bill Hicks.
But yeah, can I add why it's such a big disparity between the left and the right debate panels? Yeah, because for one, when it comes to the left side, they oftentimes are well more established. They pretty much have a huge slush fund network that goes into these streamers and debaters or whatever.
Yeah.
That's why they can keep. They have a massive institutional advantage over the right. We're pretty much the underdogs here, so we have to like build ourselves up.
The right has definitely caught up. Definitely in the past, like, right.
And the reason for
the right's kind of caught on to like, well, we need to put money.
And their tactics, yeah.
Organically, like as far as like just people watching with jobs and families, want to be supporting people with the same, but also organization pick up and be like, we need to put a ton of money. Like that's why you've seen like Charlie Kirk, some of these other guys kind of blow up.
Yeah.
Take ton of spaces.
What's Charlie Kirk saying? Team America,
Turning-
fuck yeah. No, that's
Charlie
Turning
Kirk
Point
is saying
USA.
Team Nala.
Turning
Nala.
point.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
That part, you know, maybe they picked the wrong guy, but
Bro, Charlie Kirk's a liberal deep down inside, bro. Like I'm just saying. He is, man. Come on, let's be fucking perfectly fair. This guy wanted to get fucking drag queens into the movement back in 2019.
Turning
Yeah,
I don't
that's-
remember that.
But all I'm saying is the fact that we're pretty much come from like pretty much authentic, real life situation. We have jobs.
How's that
We have
now?
family. We don't really
Hello,
make much
mic
time
check.
for it. But now we've been making time for it, putting investment.
It
And we
keeps
talk from,
like
you know,
turning
straight out
itself
our ass.
down.
We don't
I
have
know what's
anybody that
going
pays us. We don't have it. We don't have institutions that pretty much buys us out. Well, unlike the Daily Wire, which they do, they're pretty much a neocon institution. That's just my take. The thing is, the left, they do. They have all these left-wing institutions, so that's why they feel like they're fake. I mean, just look at, they said Sam Cedar, he has 1 million subscribers, but he barely gets, cracks up 10,000 views sometimes. It's
That
because
guy's
he's fake.
awful. Yeah, he's awful.
He's a fake. He's a weasel. People
him
know
and-
that he's fake.
Him and
Hello?
fucking David Pacman both just ooze that in disingenuousness. Yeah, they're just full of fucking shit.
Hello.
And that's not just the only ones. They have plenty of
bless
others that like that. Luke Beasley, Brian Tyler Cohen. There's a lot of them that are basically just fake. They have no realness at all. Like there's nothing real about them. They're just fake,
Hello?
institutionalized Democrats.
Propagandists. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello.
And we don't have that same
Hello?
infrastructure, so we
Hello?
have to like be
I don't even know
creative
what's
in how
happening
we
anymore.
get around try to fight these people.
I think most of the people who are speaking on the right that have any kind of following, like the Hodge twins or Charlie Kirk or any of these people, do come across as much more genuine for the most part.
Yeah.
But we do have some strange characters like fucking Cat Turd and
Fuck is Cat Turd?
You don't know who Cat Turd is? He's huge on
no
Twitter.
idea.
He does a podcast
He's
every
a
day
big-
at like 10 o'clock.
He's a big sycophant. Trump sycophant.
He is. He's a Trump sycophant for sure.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm new to TikTok, so I don't know the TikTok.
It's not TikTok.
No,
it's Twitter.
It's on
Twitter.
X. Yeah.
Sorry, Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. I just haven't run into him.
Yeah, he's on Twitter. He's a freak.
But there are some right-wing institutions that I believe that we just need to stay away from. Daily Wire is one of them. I think it's a neocon organization. I mean, just look what's happening right now. The moment when October 7th happened, they completely their mask broke, and they have been declining ever since.
Yeah. Well, they're Zionists. I'll say that. And it's run by a Jew, But I don't know if they're neocon or not. I bet.
Fucking anti-Semitic.
I don't know if the whole
anti-Semitic piece
cool
of
it,
shit.
man.
Cool down, bro. We're on
now.
YouTube.
The only
Cool
one
it
that's
with
not
the
really not is
anti-Semitic
Matt
remarks,
Walsh, which he's probably not going to last very long.
I like Matt Walsh. I like Matt Walsh.
Yeah,
That's
Matt
what I was
Walsh is
thinking.
this. Yeah.
Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles are pretty fair voices, right? But
I think
It's just Ben
Knowles
Shapiro.
is kind of a bitch, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Michael Knowles is a little
Knowles,
bit of a bitch,
yeah,
but
Knowles is a coward, dude.
I think Matt is
Such
a lot
coward.
more stable ground. I like Matt the most,
Yeah.
actually.
Matt is
And,
big. He's
Michael
got a
Knowles backed
foundation
out of
for
debating
sure.
Andrew Wilson.
None of those guys are gonna debate him, bro. Get the fuck out.
yeah,
of
probably not.
here. They're not.
You know what I mean? Matt Walsh is not a debater. He's just more like a conversation kind of guy. It just Michael Knowles backed out.
If anything,
Michael Knowles
if
does
anything,
do debates, yeah.
Yeah.
Go
I
on,
was
Abe.
going to say, if anything, Matt Walsh might talk to him, not
Do an
debate
interview
him.
or something, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I can
Andrew's
see
gonna
that.
fucking turn it into a debate. Maybe.
Of course he would.
I kind of
Of
hope.
course he would.
I kind of hope so.
That man's mind works to debate. Okay.
Yeah. Did you guys see his exchange with Pearl Davis, where it was supposed to be
Yep.
a conversation, and then
Yep.
fucking Pearl just got demolished?
Well, she wanted to
Yeah.
argue. That's the problem.
wanted-
She kept
she-
pushing points. He's like, well, fine. You want an argument? Let's go.
Let's go. She's like, I don't tell men what to do, but however, I'm gonna argue with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, she's just black pilled. I was actually
Yeah,
waiting
probably.
to do the call-in show the next night, and she ended it, dude. I was sitting in the fucking queue, like waiting to hop on, because I was like,
How long
I'm
did you
gonna
wait,
fucking
bro?
wreck this stupid bitch.
Dude.
I
It was
was
so
I was there as soon as I found out it was an open panel or an open like mic call-in thing or whatever. I was just sitting in there waiting.
It's so dumb because she makes this claim. I don't make prescriptions, but I'm going to tell you all the things wrong with everything. And then I'm not going to tell you anything else. Just, I'm going to ramp you up and get you really angry about the way the world is. And then I'm going to shut down and tell you there's no hope.
Yeah,
It's like,
total
oh my God,
backpedal.
what are you doing?
Yeah, my problem with her is that I think she does insinuations of advice.
Yes.
Which is pretty much similar to just giving advice here. Oh,
Yeah, it's like
what do men
implied
get out of
or-
it? Men shouldn't, why should they get married, etc. Like she insinuates, and she has a big male audience.
Right.
So insinuating that advice is still giving advice to men to a degree
Yes.
here. So
Well, that's how we work.
that's how we work. Yeah, exactly. So so I mean, I like Pearl because she's provocative. She pisses off the feminists, and it's funny. But outside of that, dude, she's not as smart as a content creator as maybe most people would give her credit for. That's just my claim here.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, she's an athlete first, right? And then a politician second, and a streamer third. So what are you gonna
Well,
do?
the problem too is like the way
What
that
does
she
she do?
works. Oh,
Yeah,
she played
yeah.
like
That's
like
how she.
college level
Oh yeah, but
basketball.
does she still though?
No.
Oh,
That's how
okay.
she came to fame or whatever. Was she jumped on
Yeah.
the
Pearl?
Riley Gaines fucking train?
Bandwagon, yeah.
Oh really?
Well, she grabbed onto the RP wave. And it's funny because when she first came out, my problem with Pearl was that she was basically parodying Myron Game talking points. And then she was going to other places within the manosphere, like Jesse Lee Peterson, saying that women are inherently evil. to the Bible and stuff like that.
I fucking love JLP, dude.
I
He's
do love
hilarious.
him too. I'm not gonna lie. Jesse Lee's great. Jesse Lee's great. But she was trying to like combine all these talking points into one to kind of be unique about things. But the fact that I watch their content, all the ones that that she's parodying, it really seemed very fake to me. And not only that, she went on Jesse Lee Peterson's show where she was trying to talk like Myron Gaines. In the very beginning, bro, she just felt super fake to me. And it's just something that till this day I kind of can't get over, you know?
I noticed about that too with Pearl. I don't know, like it seems like she has been the most inconsistent in terms, or just really just likes to start shit for no reason.
It frustrates me that she's in the same vein as like these guys like Rollo Tomasi or whatever, where like they're doing this thing where they're like pointing at the problem, but as soon as somebody comes in with a solution, like they don't want to hear it. Like they're pointing at the roof, they're like, "Hey guys, the roof is leaking," and they're like got this crowd around them, this stupid fucking crowd of guys that are, "Oh yeah, look, the roof is leaking. Yeah, this is so bad, man. Guys, gather around and look." And they're all staring up at the fucking roof, and then a guy comes along like, "Hey man, you guys should probably move out of the fucking way. That roof's gonna cave in." Or like, "Hey, we should get up. There's some ladders over here. Let's get up on the roof and fix this shit." And they're like, "Whoa, I'm not saying I have any solutions.
Hey Nacho,
I'm just saying, look
that
at
building,
this, dude."
that building's on fire, and you're just like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's
Well,
bullshit.
that's all you say.
They but they realize like that's their cash cow though. Like
Yeah.
because they're afraid. I think it's two things. One is
It's
they're afraid
fear-mongering,
of,
for
of
sure.
giving the wrong answer. They're afraid of like giving a solution and then being wrong, and then two, they're living a lifestyle that they don't want to change, so they can't take a solution like Christianity or something like this, or having a moral framework, and providing that for young men, because well then they don't get to live the lifestyle that they're living anymore. That means they have to live what they preach. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's why a lot of them turn to Islam, because then they get to do both. They get to go out to Dubai and sleep with all the women and fly the fancy cars and do all the things because.
But that still goes against Islam. It feels like
Technically it does, but they don't actually.
It's a walking
Muslims don't
contradiction.
care because Muslims have the same kind of belief set that Judaism practices too, where in their scriptures they teach that it's actually okay to lie to the other, to the goy or to
For the greater
to
good,
the
yeah.
outsiders, if it's for the greater good of Islam or whatever, which is distinct about Christianity. It's it's not okay to lie. Period. It's still a sin either way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's my
There would
problem with
probably
that
be
whole
certain
thing.
circumstances, if you're trying to save your family, but in general, if you're just gonna lie for the furtherance of your religion, Christianity doesn't support that.
But here's my thing.
It's
When it
taqiyya. It's like an actual practice.
Yeah, here's my
That's
thing
in their
about the whole
scriptures.
black pill.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Here's my thing about the whole black pill thing. I have black pill moments, but I'm not totally black pill to the point that it's just a complete disengage. And people oftentimes always tell me, why you always engage in politics and all that? Because obviously it affects us. You bitch about, why my mortgage is like $2,000 a month. Well, obviously you're not engaging in your politics. The thing is, if you're not engaged, you're going to be left behind, and then you're gonna be wondering, why am I paying $4 for a gallon of gas, or $2,000 for mortgage, or why is these trans are running around and stuff like that? It's because you completely drop yourself out of politics and you bitch about politics being terrible, but you don't make any changes. The thing is that we have to engage even at a local level. Local and state level is more important than national.
I would say that's true, but the problem is that we have a whole generation prior to us that's kicked a lot of this stuff off. So now it's our job to fix what was already screwed up.
Yeah.
Right?
Much.
Yeah.
That's
And
a
the thing
long
is,
journey.
I have a lot of my family members who vote Democrats, and the ones who don't, you have the ones who vote Democrat, and then a huge portion who don't because they feel like their voice
trying to
doesn't
fix
matter,
this
or it
stupid
doesn't matter.
thing.
But then they complain that why
How do you
everything
get
is
on the
going
panel?
wrong.
Go to
because you
Project
don't vote.
VOPod.
You're not engaging
on
in
YouTube.
the political sphere. You're not
I think
engaging in
he's got
debate.
it pinned.
So
I'm trying to
but
fix
you
this
want to bitch
stupid
about
mic.
everything
I don't
going
know what's going
wrong,
on.
or why your school is all messed up, or why you're
Mic
paying
check.
so much for rent. I mean,
I'm trying to sorry, I'm gonna get
Come
loud
on.
because I'm trying to peek it to see if it
No, I get you, man. I
automatically
get you.
adjusts itself.
I
I
get
would-
you.
Hello.
I would say that back on the Pearl thing,
Hello.
I think what they do is worse than just straight black pill,
I
because
think we're good.
men are specifically men are built for purpose. We literally need purpose. And if you take purpose out of the equation and then you say there's also no solution because I don't give answers on how to fix
Yeah.
it, you've now said you have a purpose, you can't attain your purpose, and there's no way to fix it. So not only have you blackpilled them, you've also enraged them. So you're
you
like
become
activating
nihilistic.
you've activated
Alright, good.
some
Appreciate it.
angry,
I don't know
driven
why
person
it was
rather than
automatically
just
adjusting
making them
in
feel
the system. It's
hopeless.
still doing it.
Abe, would you make that same argument that when Fresh and Fit
Bless him.
first started and stuff like that, were they doing that same type of, emotion with young men? Would you say, or no?
I would say in part yes, because they were still saying, there's no way to fix this situation, but they
I
were
remember
still
that.
at least telling people to go out and make money and go out and get fit and get your life together and try to at least give yourself the opportunity to find someone,
Yeah.
rather than
agree.
just telling you all women are screwed. They're all bad.
Mic check.
Which is what Pearl
Ah,
does.
that's
She
so
says
weird.
there's
I don't
no good
understand.
ones, basically. At least
Yeah.
Myron said, look for the right one. get your stuff up, know that most of them are bad,
As
but
soon as I
you might find a
unmute,
good
it
one.
starts automatically
That is
adjusting.
true. That is true. That's why, like, dude, Pearl is somebody, and like I said, I don't want to talk
StreamYard, I
shit
think.
about Pearl, but Pearl just kind of feels. And dude, by the way, I'll ask a question to the panel here. This is just my belief: is that I don't believe women in general should even be in this type of male improvement space in the first place, or male advice, insinuating advice, etc. I think it really clogs.
Yeah,
up.
they should be talking. They should be speaking to women. Like if they want to help, they should be directing their criticisms towards women, and which I'll give it to Pearl. She does do a lot of, but she just, I don't know. Dude. I think she's just like super black pilled, and no pun intended. But she's
Yo, this guy has Jesse Lee Peterson as a fucking thumbnail. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Beta.
In a sombrero.
Black lesbian communists.
Yeah, he hopped over from the chat. He was asking where to hop on or something.
Yeah, thank you for the sub, bro.
My thing about it
But-
is it sort of goes into not only black issues but also like abortion and shit like that. They say white men shouldn't be talking about black issues or abortion, and yet it's perfectly fine for people to have an opinion about it. You know what I mean? So, will I accept advice from a woman more readily than I would a man who's doing well and is emulating a life that I'd want to see in my own life? Then yeah, I'd listen to the guy first. But should women just not be talking about it? I mean, they have opinions too. Why the hell not?
I think there's an issue though with that.
Well,
because
that's what
there's a certain level of knowing that there's an audience and being the female coming into that audience and saying, "Look, I'm with you, and here's the problems, and I'm also gonna help you believe that it's way worse than it actually is." So, like, I agree that women could talk, but they need to not be the driving force between animus between the sexes.
I think here's the biggest problem. I think is that I don't necessarily care whether men or women are talking about men or women's issues, but the problem comes in where it seems like all of the people who are talking about the shit, all these fucking people that are giving the relationship advice, they're always single. Their lives are always a wreck. They're always running around doing all this extra, nonsense. They're not. Their house is not in order. So it's like, why am I taking relationship advice from somebody who's been single for the past 10 years and their longest relationship was like 2 years in fucking college or some shit?
I'd say that also would go for the dudes who are in the red pill space, who don't have a woman, who don't have a life together.
Yeah, I
who
mean
don't
both
have
of them.
children, who
Yeah, I'm
don't-
talking
all
about
that.
both of them. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%.
It was like that debate with Rob Noir and Jasmine Jafar talking about divorces. She was talking about how everything was supposed to be this way, even though Rob is married and have kids. And Rob literally just like, you know what, screw this. He went blood sport on her afterwards because she was just spewing out the most dumbest crap.
Yeah, this is what Bumblebee Bob says. Places women should be. 1, the kitchen. No,
yes.
no further answers.
I had to argue that last night, by the way. I don't know if anybody caught it. I was on Grid's debate last night, and Anson paid for the topic, and I had to argue this topic against a chick, and it was literally the topic he set, right, was women belong in the household, and that's the presupposition at the beginning. And if they belong in the household, they should be in the kitchen. And I had to argue the affirmative for this. I had to argue that affirmative.
Yeah. It's kind of like what Destiny always complain about. Oh, the right is not moral, but this guy is most morally bankrupt person out there.
Really quick, Miguel. Latin AI in Cali. What's up, man?
Hi, it's
Oh
nice
shit,
to
this
be
is a
here.
woman? Is this a woman?
Yeah,
Yeah?
instead of Latin
Jesse Lee
X,
Peterson.
Yes, instead of Latin X, I'm saying Latina with a giant A.
Nice.
Latina.
I'm surprised. I'm always surprised I ever have any female audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was.
I'm just a crass, individual.
Yeah. So we
I
got
say
two
what's
women,
on my
which are
chest.
real. By the way, Latin AI in Cali, you are a real woman. You're not a transformer, maybe.
Last time I checked my vagina.
Okay, great. I just wanted to check.
Awesome.
Just wanted to check that really quick. Kat, are you also a real woman?
Never been proven.
Never been
Okay.
proven. We'll just leave it at that.
I've watched Cat some, so yeah.
Hey, you guys.
He's pretty awesome.
Hey, you guys.
We're
if
good.
I'm not a real woman, please stop the bleeding every month.
Okay.
For sure.
My
That is a
wife would
bummer.
agree. My wife would agree.
I know, it's so messy. It's gross. Hey,
Yeah.
I was wondering about like if you guys have ever tried to get Pearl on your channel, because I've seen her go on small channels, but I'm wondering if she's farming her simps. Like, like, hey guys, I'm over here. I'm white. I have a big butt. Like look at my pictures.
That's what I think to a degree, and I think that she's falling victim to the same kind of mentality that a lot of these other red pillars fall into, where it's like, well, if I actually give them the solution, they might run away. Like they might actually. It's like why the same reason why I tell people not to use dating apps. It's like, well, they wouldn't have a business model if the dating apps were designed to actually match you up with a pair, because then everyone would get paired up, and then your app would cease to exist. You know what I mean? It wouldn't serve a function anymore.
And
I think these people, the red pillars, kind of serve the same purpose.
What you said there earlier about them pointing at the roof leaking and they're not trying to solve the problem. Like, do you believe that they're not teaching the people that come to be their audience? They're not like speaking in logical enough terms, like trying to teach them about like, hey, how do we make solutions? Like, do you ever hear them say, please go to your local city council meetings. Please go to your local school board meetings. Even if you do not have any children, if you live in that district, you have the ability to show up because you do pay taxes, whether it's through your rent or through your mortgage.
No, I don't ever hear things like that from those people.
Yeah, that's very complex. I don't hear a lot of individuals around my area to kind of get that complicated with that. To be politically fair, Kat, what are you doing?
What?
Kat, I want to get your opinion on Pearl. Kat,
Yeah.
what's your opinion here when it comes to Pearl, and maybe does she give advice to men, or is she good for the space? What's your opinion here?
She's really
Trick
good.
question. I don't care about your opinion.
Bro.
All right, go.
Jeez. Well, I've talked to her a few times. I don't think, because I have a very like nuanced take on things. So when I don't go full like men are the problem, she kind of like loses interest in working with me. But I'm just like, there's a nuance to it. Like this happens because of this.
Can I
then-
interrupt you? I don't know what nuance means. If you don't mind explaining.
It's like, yeah, go ahead, Kat.
I don't know how to explain nuance.
It's kind of like it's not either black or white. There's somewhere in the middle of gray. Yeah.
The gray area. So so she wants everything and everybody that goes on her channel to be like, it's women's fault. It's always
Oh my God! Who the hell cares?
What the hell is this, Jake?
No, I'm sorry. Go on.
I swear to God, every time I was just on Gridstream, he kept playing that same stupid soundbite.
That's funny.
I can't get away from it.
Go.
Anyway, so she doesn't like nuance. She only wants to stick to what works for her brand, which is women bad, men flawless. And I'm like, that's not gonna solve the problem, because
that's true.
You've gotta go and you gotta talk to both sides and get them to come together.
You have to
This
have
is
some
gonna
kind
end
of
a
description.
species.
This is what's been one of the worst kind of like fallout of Kevin Samuels' death, is that because Kevin Samuels was really good at this. Kevin Samuels was like the OG of the red pill.
I don't even know who that is.
Well, you should go look him up.
Really?
His videos are still out there.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Samuels was way better at all the red pill shit than any of these people who tried to fill the gap after. And the reason was,
so I was kind of
yeah.
biased.
So you're
Go
just,
ahead.
but
Go ahead.
no.
Go ahead,
So, but the reason he was good though is because he shit on everybody. I mean, both sides, and he put everybody in their place. He would grill them and ask them questions about like, okay, well, you think that you deserve this or deserve that, or you think that you're whatever, you're an alpha male, or you're like a 10 or whatever. What are you making? Well, how much money do you make a year? Do you have any debt? Do you have whatever? And he would grill men the same that he would women. You know, and that's the nuance that you do need. You don't need to do this thing where you just make it black and white. You just shit on women all the time, and you're just like radicalizing these young men to like hate women, which is retarded because, you know, having a wife and building a family is like super based, and you're gonna turn these people away from that, and like you have to give them some solutions. You have to give them some moral grounding, and then you have to give them some realism too. Like, you know, if you're like you might be like a 7 or an 8 or whatever, you might be doing all the right things, but you might need to take a different approach. I tell young guys this, and it's not a joke, but like maybe you need to like find yourself a like 5 in the gym or a 4 in the gym that's got a really pretty face, and you need to go help her get to a 7. You know what I mean? Like, you need to find creative solutions to these things. You can't just, you know, maybe you need to lower your standards as a male, just like maybe, you know, definitely some women need to lower their standards. You know, so.
Well, that's the thing. To Kat's point, she's saying that Pearl's whole fucking brand is that black pill bullshit, and then never offering any kind of prescription or solution or moral grounding like you're talking about to try and resolve any of it. And it's all the doomer shit, man. And that doomer shit goes away if you start actually proposing solutions and showing people that, hey, you know, it's not so bad. You're gonna find a way.
Well, another one that's like that is Anton Daniels. Not only he's harsh to women, he's also harsh to men, even more so to men that look dusty and stuff. I mean, there was one time this guy, some guy got onto his panel, and he looked terrible. Anton ripped him a new one, and a week later, got himself cleaned up and looking like he was ready to get into a career.
Oh, the black guy. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Anton Daniels is not fucking around. He's basically like the next, pretty much the next generation of a red pill.
Wasn't he like
what should be?
Wasn't he in that same kind of movement with like Kevin Samuels, etc., like that Black Manosphere movement?
Yeah, but and the thing is, Anton Daniels, like I say, now he's harsh to women. He's also harsh to men, more so than men. Any man that's like dusty as hell, looking like shit, no, he'll whip you a new one. He would have his whole crew to jump him too. So
you think he's gonna talk shit about me because I'm all dusty and shit? Fuck you. I'm gonna fucking debate him. No, but I get it. Yeah, I get it. I see the.
He wants people to succeed, and sometimes you gotta show him a tough love. You gotta be harsh. And the problem is that we live in a society that we let all this crap slide to the point that now we're pretty much gonna get conquered if we don't turn that shit around.
Well, unfortunately, I think it's a little bit more sinister than like, you know, just people being soft. I think, you know, I think they want to farm their audience a little bit. Like, I don't think they want to give them solutions. I think they want them to be in that kind of mindset. I think they want them to be kind of like, you know, never actually reaching the solutions, because then they're just going to keep coming back to them. That's why I don't like some of these guys, like the red pillars that have taken over, because they don't offer any solutions. They just describe everything. And then when you try to press them on, like, you know, okay, well, like, how do we? So you're saying like we need to like do this or this, and they're like, well, no, I'm not saying I have any solutions. Well, I'm just saying like this is the way things that are. And it's like, well, then Nacho, what? So then what fucking good are you? What use are you? Who the fuck honestly, cares?
Nacho describes a lot of the RP guys. Like Donovan kind of has that kind of mentality. Actually, I spoke to a lot of the RP dudes, like
Rolo. Rolo's like
Rolo's one of them
the worst, dude.
It's a rage addiction.
Yeah, but it kind of feels like they don't want to be giving prescriptions, but they're kind of libertarian about the subject. It's just more of like, well, you know, just do as you will. I always call libertarians kind of like Satanists, like do as thy will, and as long as you don't hurt anybody. It's kind of the same kind of ideology here, but with the RP. It's just like, yeah, I'll give advice, but I can't tell men what to do or women what to do. And they kind of accept the feminist movement there. But what I respect about Myron Gaines, and I'm going to back up Myron Gaines, is that Myron doesn't necessarily do that to that degree. Maybe you guys might disagree with me on this, but I think in recent years, Myron is a lot more straightforward with a lot of his advice, especially when he first started the podcast. So I think Myron is ahead of the game
I would
He's
say
grown a lot, so
He still has
Marco probably
stupid
agrees with me on
solutions
this.
because he
Yeah.
wants everybody to sleep with everybody. Like,
Yeah, that's what I was
he
saying.
wants
Nacho
men
would
to
probably
sleep
agree
with.
with me.
I mean, he
that
still needs to
you
Yeah,
shouldn't
go
have all
ahead.
those partners. You shouldn't have all the sexual partners. You shouldn't be going out looking to sleep with 600 women. That's ridiculous. It's not okay. You should be looking for a mate to settle down with and have a life with. So that would be my biggest discrepancy, my biggest issue with Myron and
No,
his
for
team.
sure. I think Myron gives the advice through a hypocrisy point of view. It's the same thing as that. Like, for example, I smoke cigarettes, but I would obviously tell somebody not to smoke cigarettes. Like, I know Myron. He was.
But he
very
doesn't say
overt.
that though. He doesn't say not to do it.
Yeah.
He says to do it.
Well, he says that. Okay, he says the 50 bodies. Is that what you're implying?
Yeah, like like you need to sleep with
Sure,
like
yeah.
25
But-
women or 50. Yeah, 50 women. Or
Yeah,
whatever
but
it is, like-
Myron's take there is that when he says about the 50 bodies, he's more implying that you need some type of experience, whether it's one body, two bodies, three bodies. He uses 50 as like kind of like
That's such a
I
morbid
don't think he
way
do,
to refer
though.
to that.
Like,
as
I don't really
bodies, you
think.
know?
I don't really think
totally
that he
agree with you
do.
there. Hold on, I totally agree with you, bro. I totally agree with you. But I'm just saying, like,
And
I
I'm a
understand where
hypocrite here,
Myron's
just so we're clear.
Yeah, so am I. So am I. Look,
Oh,
dude.
backdrop.
Look, I'll tell you this. I'm over the 50 bodies when it comes to women. I'm not gonna lie. Would I recommend men banging 50 women or 50 plus women? No, I wouldn't. Of course not. But however, I would say that is there some experience that you can learn by navigating sexually with women? I think there is, but it's not the end all be alls the way Myron kind of does. But Myron also.
But it's
bakes
also
in
not
money.
necessary either.
No.
Sure.
So here's my issue too. Like you say that, but if you have guys out there, one man, 50 girls, okay? Every one man with 50 women, that's all the women on the planet. There is no clean, ready woman out there.
Yeah,
and that also
not-
means there was overlap the whole time. So you've literally defeated your own movement by that point, because there is no pure women left on Earth for you
Right.
to have.
No,
Well,
I agree with you, but
I don't think the number itself is very important. It's like Vio was trying to say, is it's really just about having some experience before you go into a situation where you're gonna hit yourself to one person for the rest of your life.
It's the homemaker argument. You know what I mean? you
I'll
can't
tell
you
you this,
can't be
the vast
mad
majority of men
that
can't
the
even
only
do that.
thing around is hoes if you're contributing to the problem.
you're
Like
making
if you're the one making hoes, you're the one turning these women out.
Hey, we're slut makers, bro. Let's just be 100 about it.
I mean,
Men
that's what I
are slut
mean.
makers.
Oh,
But-
for fuck's sake.
But I will tell you this: most men can't even accomplish that in the first place, right? At least the vast majority. I don't think the vast majority of men, and even look at the statistics, I think the average body count of a man is around 5 bodies, bro. 50 is just out of the realm.
That's about what I got. Is about 5. I'm
It's about
modest. I usually like to go into. I stay in a relationship for a year or more, and we have a lot on the mental, intellectual level, in common, and in addition to
That's
that,
gay.
physical attraction.
That's gay.
Why is that gay? How is that
I'm
gay?
kidding.
I'm just being an honorable man. Y'all are sitting here saying, "Oh, everybody should be a
I'm
slut."
kidding, dude. No.
I'm the one. I'm the one speaking truth to power right here, man.
I'm
Well,
kidding, bro. I'm kidding.
I'll say this.
I just
I'll
said
say
it
this.
because he
I
said
have,
it. You know what I mean? It's
I have
peer
2.
pressure.
I have 2. And to be fair, I'm going to throw this out there. I've been with 2 women. One is my ex-wife, and one is my current wife. I've never been with any other women. I'm a Marine, a combat veteran Marine. I'm 6'4",
Holy
200 pounds. Like
Bro, you're
Honest
the
Dave.
same height as Blinken. What the fuck?
I could
Why do you
could
think he
Hey,
has
Genghis,
that
dude.
profile?
I could get women as much as I wanted. I didn't because it
Yeah.
wasn't right. I was
Fair
raised
enough.
against all of that, and so I think that if we had a better moral system, we would have a far less issues with men finding women.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, here, you're the most honorable man in the room, Abe Dinkus. I'll drink to you.
Yeah, I will
Yeah, it was the opposite.
I do
I'm
wanna
also
say,
tall and yeah.
Yeah,
and I
this guy
didn't
just
I
said that
didn't
he's only
use my
been with 2
powers
women.
for good. I did. I'll
Yeah.
just say that I didn't. I was.
Fuck yeah,
W
Abe.
for-
It's not good.
W Abe right there. Like, wow. But I'll give you credit on that, bro. 2 women off the bat. Very, very,
space.
very honest here. Very moral of you, Abe. But like I said, I think the landscape is a bit different. And dude, let's just be honest. A lot of men don't have that type of willpower. We all understand it. I'm not saying for them to go out there and bang every single woman. However, that is the natural urge of men. But I will tell you this. I think dating, you don't have to bang them, but I think dating women, or at least having the courage to talk to women, is something that a lot of men need to develop.
I
You know?
agree. Yep.
Yeah. Because I think
That
a lot of men
definitely.
can't even do that in the first place, bro. Like I've
Well,
run into a lot of individuals that can't even talk to a woman.
yeah, we have a good development of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like men need to learn the skills. They need to understand that women are just people. First of all, that's a huge thing
What?
I've
They're people?
noticed.
Shit. Okay.
And what happens is guys put them on this weird different plane of existence where they're so scared to death to talk to them. They're just people. Like have a conversation with the woman because she's just a person.
Mm-hmm.
And instead they're like looking for a mate, and so then they screw up everything because they don't even know how to talk to them because they treat them like they're not a person. They treat them like they're some other thing. And it's like that's terrible.
Like a piece of meat that's just supposed to bring home money. It's for her to spend, right?
Well, here's the thing. I see a lot of
Or an
men
angel.
that I see a lot of men that actually settle for girls that are maybe more attractive than them. And when they settle for these chicks, they usually have some type of ego to where they control the man. A lot of men have fears that a girl that maybe they can't replace that chick because that's the hottest piece of ass you've ever gotten. They're more willing to oblige to the woman's demands in the relationship. And I think that causes conflict within that, you know? And I think there's a lot of men that kind of have those situations.
That's kind of what's caused the degradation of society. That's what's caused, you know, the like exacerbation of feminism and all this other leftists and all this emotional, because you got a bunch of dumbass wife guys because they went out and they snagged the hottest chick they could find. But what the reality is unfortunately, and this is where Myron Gaines is right, like these are like hot chicks who went through college and got turned out by, you know, 20 other dudes. And then they settled for you because you had a house and you have a good job and you have all this. So you have all these resources and you can influence things and you have power and whatever. And you landed this smoking hot chick. And now she controls you. Now she has you by the balls, and you just do whatever the fuck she wants. You vote for Biden, you vote for fucking Stalin. You don't give a fuck. You're just like, whatever keeps me this piece of ass, dude. I could never get anything better than this. Like,
You're willing to vote for Stalin for that ass.
that's literally what's happening. You literally have guys that are doing this. Guys are
Never put the
voting
pussy on a pedestal.
in their own worst interests. Like you have these like self-hating, you know, feminist retards because of all this. And it's literally just because they're trying to get some ass. Like, and then even like what Tim Pool was saying on it. Then you got the sneaky fuckers, you know.
Oh yeah,
you
that's
got the
another
sneaky fuckers. Like,
and dude, I'm gonna be
fucking
honest,
money
I'm-
misers,
I'm one of
yeah.
those sneaky fuckers back in the day, man. I'm gonna be 100 about it. But
it
okay,
happens though, dude. It's just like you just go along to get along. You're just like, whatever, dude, gets me a whole piece, man.
It is what it is.
Jake, thanks for having me, brother. I'm gonna head out though.
Oh, dude, thanks for showing up on the panel, bro. I'm glad you fucking stopped by. Stop by
Hell yeah.
anytime, by the way.
See you, dude.
It's
All right, have
it's
a
good
good one.
seeing you, Nacho. See ya, Abe. Y'all have a good one.
Later,
We'll see you, buddy.
Take it easy, Ginger.
Yeah. Fuck you, Terry. All right.
Hey, Nacho, I wanted to tell you a story here. I have a buddy of mine that recently left his wife. He's the one that left her. When I asked him what happened, he said, "Dude, my chick. Well, they weren't actually married. They were in a relationship for like 8 years, 10 years. They have 2 kids together." And he was saying like, "Dude, you know, my ex-girlfriend, I was with her for another 10 years prior before this chick. Her father passed away. Now, this is another thing. He was telling me like, dude, my ex-girlfriend's father was like a father to me, right? Because he comes from a broken household, and that it was a father figure. That guy would put the fucking t-shirt on his back if he could. So he went to the funeral. The new girlfriend, got very upset that my friend was going to the funeral and getting involved with the family, even though he wasn't involved with the girlfriend anymore, but getting involved with particularly the father. And that was a conflict. He said that was the start of it. And there was a lot of issues there. He decided to leave. And then within about 6 months or so, she ended up replacing him with another guy. And I found out about this. He said this. He says, "Bro, it's all good. Don't care. It happened. But that woman, I launched out to her, and I think that woman just needs a beta male that will listen to her. And I think this is the guy that she fucking picked. She's a single mom of 2 kids from him, and she got a guy that I'm not gonna lie, looks like a fucking beta male that's willing to take on her baggage.
Crazy, dude.
And it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. And he even admitted that. Like, dude, I just told the guy, don't PDF file my kids, and then we're good. And he's involved with the kids and everything. He's
Yeah.
gonna be the best father he can with co-parenting. But he did say, like, yeah, dude, this bitch needs a fucking guy that she can boss around. And I couldn't take it anymore. I said,
Wow.
fuck you, and he left.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Dude.
Yeah. And I do love that guy, man. Like, I don't like the fact that he left the chick for the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh, I know. Anyways, gentlemen, any other subjects before we go on? I'm already on stream for 8 fucking
Well,
hours.
I want to say before we leave too far off the, because I did have some thoughts about this. I always like shitting on the red pillars and even
do it
Pearl a little bit, but I think the thing that really bothers me, like, is that, these people basically, like, you have people out here, like, I'm married, I'm in a relationship, I'm married, I have kids, everything's going good, but I see the absolute state of, like, dating, and I hear the horror stories from my friends or from younger men coming into this shit. And I think the thing that pisses me off is that, like, if this was like 100 years or so ago, and we're like all sailing the oceans, we hit a storm, we're working our asses off to fix the sails, and we tie down the loose items. We're trying to control everything the best we can. We're getting our fucking ship through this storm, and then you have this fucking loser in the corner, like, well, but guys, we can't control the storm. Like, what if we all die? Like, you're going overboard, dude. Like that. I think that's what pisses me off about it. It's like, these people need to go overboard. You need to get them the fuck out of the way. Get them out of the fucking limelight. Kill them. Destroy them all. You
could say they need a come to Jesus moment.
They do. If they have that, then they can stay on the ship. But if they're just willing to be like, oop, and just complaining about all the shit all the time, you gotta go, dude. Like, we gotta fucking ditch you. We gotta get rid of you, because we're trying to rehabilitate this, birth rate. We're trying to get things back on track. Yeah. We're trying to get men and women back together again. We're trying to get women back in the homes. We're trying to get men, busting ass, being a good, you know what I mean? It's like the man needs to be. The woman needs to submit to the man, but the man needs to submit to God. The man needs to submit to something higher, and he has to be worthy of that,
The hierarchy. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So we need to attack both, but at the same time, like, anytime we hear these people that are just like these praxeology, descriptions, like black-pilled fucking losers, dude, they just gotta go, dude.
Yeah,
we gotta toss them overboard and get rid of them, dude.
All the doom is out.
They're killing the motivation, dude. They're killing the vibe.
Killing
like,
everything.
We understand we're in a shitstorm, dude, but we're there's people here trying to get through this and navigate through this, and there's other people just being like, oh no, we're in a storm, guys, it's really scary. Like, yeah, no shit, dumbass. Like, do you have anything else to offer? Like, no solutions? All right, well then sit down, or you're going overboard. Like,
I think
shut
it's even
up,
worse
dude.
than that, Nacho. I think it's worse than that, because if you come at them and talk to them about, like, for myself, if I go to them and I say, look, I've been married 17 years, I have 2 children, I'm happy, I bought a house, I have property, I serve my country, all these things, they're gonna discredit you as quickly as possible. They're gonna destroy everything you say, because their way needs to be the way.
Yeah, but like, you're like, yeah, but how tall are you? You're tall, or like, you're like this, or you have this advantage, you have that. Yeah, I've heard it all. Trust me. I've talked to some of these like really incel, like black-pilled people before. Like, I've come across a couple of them in these discords and stuff like that, and there's just like, there's nothing you can say, dude. I give all the, like, I'm just like, I can give everything. And they're just like, they're looking for a way to, like, get back to their, well, we can just, like, black pill about everything again. And I'm just like, some of them you can't save. You know what I mean? But especially when they're popular, like, pundits, and they're out there, like, talking to the rest of the general public, that's when it's dangerous. It's like, you gotta go, dude.
Yeah, for like it's annoying because obviously for me, I'm a Puerto Rican black, New York City. I don't have anybody in my family who are established or anything. We don't have any business. Most of my family is addicts or whatever, and I was born with Asperger's as well, so I had all kinds of limitations. Everything, pretty much a lot of shit that was pretty much limitation. But you know what? I still managed to get my shit together. I stopped being a bum. I have my own place. I have a diesel truck. I have a fifth wheel camper.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. If this retard can do it, you guys can do it. Okay.
Exactly. We got this, bro. We got this, boys. We got this, boys.
I mean that the picture.
No, seriously,
that you
that's
see in
awesome,
My
though,
profile
dude.
picture. That's the truck I own. This is
That's
Dodge
awesome.
Ram diesel truck. 360,000 miles, and that shit's still chugging along.
That's
Fuck
badass,
yeah,
dude.
Miguel.
You
Fuck
gotta
yeah,
do it.
Miguel.
You got
But
to, man.
we-
Like you can
anybody
have
can
all
make
the
it
all
out.
the yeah, bro. I mean, dude, we were dirt poor, bro. Like, what you know about eating cheese sandwiches, dude? Eating ramen noodles dry as a fucking snack, dude. Like, I mean,
Shit,
dude,
I was
I
homeless
grew up
for
poor
almost a
as
year.
fuck, dude.
Actually,
like,
I'm gonna eat some ramen noodles after this, bro. I'm still fucking. I
dry,
still want to
dude.
go
You gotta
back
eat
to
them
that.
dry, dude.
Dry.
Yeah.
It's all hard and
Yeah.
shit. Crunch.
I did, dude.
Yes, you
Really,
been
man. It
through
was just like we
worse.
didn't have potato chips, dude. That shit was
You didn't have
expensive.
a microwave to fucking heat that shit up.
No, we did, but it was just like, you know what I mean? It's just, you know, you're just like, man, I really want some potato chips right now. I'll just eat these fucking ramen noodles dry. It's close
Fuck
enough,
yeah,
dude.
And the truth is, humanity been through worse throughout its time, and we still managed to power through.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like that, we've gotten so far away from like, we're so privileged. Like the society, especially in America and first world countries, is so insulated from any kind of hardship, and we treat this window of like the last 50 years or 100 years of like so-called peace as though it's permanent. Like this is gonna last forever. This is not the norm. The norm, if you look back at history, is to constantly be in a state of war and kind of chaos and kind of like anarcho-capitalist kind of society. Like you have to survive through this shit. That's the standard, so to speak, is survival. And then in the last 50 to 100 years, we got lucky and we put together this first world society, and now we got idiots trying to extrapolate this and be like, it's going to be like this forever, and it's really not.
Nacho,
I do want to say, sorry.
No, I was gonna say, Nacho, I want you to answer this question right here. Catherine says, I agree, but how do we install that in society if it's not doing that? I want to see a huge improvement in our laws dealing with criminals to start with. Nacho, you want to go about that?
What is she referring to? I guess how do we instill what in society if it's not doing that? Like the virtues or like what I was talking about?
Yeah, virtues, etc. How would you go about that?
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to be like a. I like to joke, but I mean, I really wouldn't want like a fascist society because I don't think it's useful. I don't think it works. Like, so I don't think you could use a government top down as far as like forcing, but you could do a Christian nationalism or a Christian sort of like, you know, propaganda campaign, like a state funded propaganda campaign where because the same way that we got, what's the same way we got, what's the damn, with the arm and the headband. You know what I'm talking about? I always forget her name.
It's all propaganda.
But
it's all campaigns that leads to women.
Exactly.
The Riveter,
same. Riveter or whatever. So the same way we did that. Yeah, Randy the Riveter or Rosie the Riveter. Yeah. So the same way we did like Rosie the Riveter. We need to do the same thing, but in the reverse. We need to do it, but you know, with a woman being, you know, the head, you know, the neck of the house and providing for the household and raising the children, and we need to make that attractive to women again, because the reality is that women do fall naturally into those roles. Like that's why the jobs that women fall into have stayed the same regardless of the quote unquote success of feminism. You know, regardless of all this DEI garbage, all of the roles that women fall into are still, an assistant, housekeeper, or they're, waitresses, or they're nurses. It's all motherly kind of, matronly duties, or whatever you call them. They're basically just work wives. They're just wives at work for somebody else when they should be wives at home for their husband.
Exactly.
And so we need to make that more attainable. There's other things that we could do to incentivize it through maybe government subsidies, forgiving house loans after you have a certain amount of kids. I mean, I'm totally for all that shit. I'm for copying kind of like Poland's
blueprint.
Yeah, like policies that they're putting into effect, where they're like,
And
if you have a
Nacho,
certain amount of like kids.
I just want to I want to expand upon that, dude. You're totally right on that. And one way propaganda is very important, dude. You have to realize that you have to go after the children, the next generation of kids.
Yeah.
You do that through the cartoons, through the comic books, through the media,
Yep.
etc.
Culture, TikTok, and all that stuff.
Well, even then, look at this. Remember back in the day when Superman was Truth, Justice, and the American Way?
Mhm.
Nowadays, with James Gunn, new movie that's coming out, I think sometime in July, I don't even know.
James Gunn?
Yeah, James Gunn. He's saying truth, justice, and the human way. It's all, no, this is actual facts here. You can look it up. It's going to be a world where Superman is catering to the entire world and not the American way of things. So they're turning Superman into a globalist. I think along with that propaganda, we need to infiltrate the media where we can influence the youth, because that's exactly what the leftists did when it came to comic books, bro. They infiltrated the comic book industry and they were starting to write feminist propaganda through
Disney.
stories. And Disney as well. Yes,
and
Disney.
like they're putting out the whole woke culture, gay culture.
Well, you need
and just for a fun fact that my father had told me, that my father he's a school district police officer, and he had to take care of or supervise a luncheon, and this was with third graders, so he was doing elementary. And he heard a group of boys that were right there that they were talking about liking other boys, and then he heard one boy stood up and said like, "What? I'm a boy. I'm supposed to like girls. I'm not supposed to like other boys." And it's just like, okay, like that to me was like so unheard of, back where
when we were young.
When me and Jay grew up, we're we're 34, we're there was maybe like 3 to 5 gay guys that actually came out of the closet out of
Very
everybody
small
else.
amount.
A very small amount.
Well, and they should never come out of the closet. Why do you need to come out of the closet? Keep that shit in the fucking closet. Do that at home. Like I'm tired of this attitude of like, oh, do what you want, just as long as it's not in my backyard. Well, hey, guess what? Now it's in all of our backyards. It's literally in everybody's backyard now.
So there's a caveat,
and it ruined us.
There's a caveat to Catherine's point.
We gave a whole fucking month. Apparently this month is supposed to be like Pride Month, and it's just it's just like, okay, like why we're giving a whole fucking month for this shit? I mean, they don't even deserve a fucking day, not even a
They don't deserve a minute, bro. Let's be honest.
I just said they don't deserve a second, and I'm just like, dude, like fuck that.
They burn their reputation away.
There's a caveat.
And it's not to the point where like if you find out, then you need to go like attack these people or berate them or whatever. No, we definitely shouldn't be celebrating this shit. We've seen, that's why the birth rates are plummeting. That's why hedonism and solipsism is like taking over this, and this like subjective morality is kind of taken over the general populace.
Abe,
well, I think that this
hold on, really quick, OJ.
Deal.
OJ, really quick. Abe, you had a caveat here that you want to shoot out here.
So Catherine was saying that she's in the UK, and I would tell you, Catherine, that the men of your country need to stand up and stand against that. Absolutely, 100% of the men in your country need to stand up and say, no, we will not do that. We will not follow this, and it needs to change right now, or they're gonna take back their country. Because if you're at a point where they're implementing Sharia law as the law of the land in your country, you either need to stop it right this minute, or it's going to be the end of your country. That's all. That's it. That's the long and short of it.
The main leader that's fighting back is Nigel Farage, who created the Reform Party in the UK.
The men have to stand up and take a stand against it. Period. It's the only way your country survives.
Yeah, and they need to have all the men get rally behind Nigel Farage because he's one of those that always been the most vocal against this insanity, and he doesn't get enough support, get enough credit for his strong will, and especially creating a brand new party known as the Reform Party.
Yeah. Look, I'll tell you this, Abe, you're on the point with that shit. Is that men do need to speak up. They do need to have the real revolution is that, not this feminist bullshit. Even though us in the United States, we elected Donald Trump specifically to take out illegal immigrants, and they're doing riots. We do need to have even the UK to step up through masculinity. You know, I think that lacks a lot.
And their last chance is Nigel Farage. If they screw that shit up, that's pretty much it. There's no other chance after that.
You don't think Andrew Tate could save it in the UK?
Oh, God.
I don't even know he's even supposed to be in the.
Or
I
who?
don't know if
Conor
he's a citizen in the
McGregor or
UK
something?
not.
Or I don't even
If
know.
he was, I'd vote for Andrew Tate over any of those fucking politicians. If I was an Englishman.
Yeah,
Luckily, I'm not.
Yeah, at this point, I don't think he's viable for that. So
I don't think so
the
either.
only, the only last option they have is Nigel Farage. That's pretty much it.
Yeah,
The Conservative Party sucks. The Tory just sucks.
Well, the conservatives in all across Europe are basically like, you know, moderate Democrats. So they're like center left.
They're like center.
They're,
yeah,
it's bad, dude. So
Well, they need a mad shift to
Europe.
conservative.
Unfortunately, the only way I think Europe gets any better is if America gets better. You know, because they tend to they tend to kind of like follow suit on like a lot of the culture politics, because you know, European countries, especially like the Nordic countries, are able to get away with a lot of the social programs and stuff that they're able to get away with because the U.S. military, you know, they don't have to spend any money on the military. So they've been able to they start implementing these social programs and kind of build their like little utopian, you know, kind of societies, or working towards that, only because you know, the U.S. military is taking a brunt of their resources, I guess, that they would otherwise be spending on their own militaries. So they need to start building up their own militaries. But I think if America gets better, they'll get better.
Yeah. Abe? Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
Nope.
I do want to say that yes, it is true that these guys do have these Medicare for All programs, because we pretty much are the biggest supplier of the military of their defenses. So that includes Israel too. But once you start pulling that away, they're gonna have to start stepping up.
Yeah. Really quick, just to reply to Catherine here. Tate's up on grape and trafficking charges. Look, I'll tell you this. I don't necessarily buy the entire grape situation. I'm pretty sure people on the panel might argue with me on that. But look, I'm just saying this. When it comes to Tate, what other options are there where Tate is basically mimicking a lot of the Donald Trump MAGA movement of how he applies to that? Look, I'm just saying this. I'd rather have an Andrew Tate running a fucking society where they're already fucking burying themselves all the way to hell. And I think some type of fucking toxic masculinity, fighting fire with actual fucking fire, is probably good for society than just fucking bringing in another Justin Trudeau.
I wouldn't even call it toxic in the first place.
I wouldn't either, but that's how other people would describe it. That's why.
I do want to say about the Andrew Tates though. The thing is, before the Andrew Tate, we did have someone who was more like in the masculine, like moderate type, and that was Jordan Peterson. But of course, they knew him to the absolute oblivion.
Dude, Jordan Peterson's a bitch. I'm just gonna say it right now.
Yeah, they neutered the hell out of him.
Well, no.
Oblivion.
No. Here's the issue. No. Here's the issue. He's very intelligent. He had some really good wisdom. He's also Canadian, so he was already left and couldn't get to the right. And so he has this leftist view of God, this leftist view of everything. and he intellectualizes everything. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, the guy had incredibly good wisdom in his earlier teaching,
That's
but
when I was into the guy. I mean,
But,
he's
um,
lost a lot of my my respect. To be
I
perfectly
think
honest.
once he became more friends with Ben Shapiro and being part
Yeah,
of the Daily
that's where it
Wire,
all went
I,
downhill.
I, I, yeah.
That's when he became super neutered and absolutely destroyed.
Well, that and
His name was been ripped into
Yeah, but that was
shreds.
but that was his
No.
choice. Like at the end of the
I
day, he
think it
didn't
was his
stay
collapse
consistent.
in benzo addiction actually that did
That was
that.
another one too. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think.
but like I said, he decided to rip his own self into shreds for no
Abe,
reason.
Abe, really quick, you can't, dude. You have to admit that when Jordan Peterson became besties with Ben Shapiro, all of a sudden, fucking Jordan Peterson is backing up Israel
yeah.
to an extent of that.
Yep.
So we can see the
You're not
influence
wrong.
that Ben Shapiro has had on Jordan Peterson. You
Yeah,
know?
you're not wrong.
Okay.
I always
saying.
said that him joining the Daily Wire was the biggest mistake he ever made in his life, and that pretty much ripped his name into into the shredder, put his
Sure.
name into the shitter.
So
and his influence on the manosphere is pretty much gone because he decided to do that. That's why we have an Andrew Tate now.
Well, I want to ask the panel this. I want to go one at a time. Just really quick answers here. Just think of it really quick. Jordan Peterson, I remember he actually dabbled in the idea of running for Prime Minister of Canada at one point. Andrew Tate did the same thing over there in the UK. Now I'm going to ask this question. If you could choose between an Andrew Tate versus a Jordan Peterson, who would you guys vote for? Let's just be honest. I want to go through the panel here. OJ, let me start with you really quick. Who would you vote for? Peterson or Tate?
I mean, if I had to pick for both for two different countries, for Canada and then for the UK,
No, just for the United States. Let's go United States.
Oh, just for the United States? Oh, I will go Andrew Tate.
Okay, let's say UK.
UK, still Andrew Tate.
Okay, Canada?
Canada will still be Andrew Tate.
Okay, all right. So we got Andrew Tate on all three. Nacho, what's your answer here?
If we're taking them in their totality, I'd have to, unfortunately, in their current forms.
Current forms. Come on, dude.
I think I would still probably have to go with Jordan Peterson.
Really?
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Okay.
Yeah. Because Tate's a homosexual, dude. I mean, at the end of the day.
You're talking about him with the what's her name? Hulk Hogan versus
No, not even. No, I'm talking about when he brags about like texting women. When he talks about how he got his start, that him and Tristan Tate would like, we running these sex cam business, and then but these girls didn't know how to text, so we unplugged their keyboard and I plugged my own keyboard in. You're basically saying that you sexted with other men while they masturbated to completion. That's gay as fuck, bro. You can't undo that. You can't ungay yourself, bro. Like,
yeah, but that was okay.
I don't care what you chop it up however you want. That's gay, dude.
Okay, fair enough. I'm not going to argue with that. I disagree, but I won't argue with it. So Nacho's got Peterson. Let's go to Miguel. Who do you got? Peterson, Tate.
Probably be Tate for all three. I mean, just because of their stronger character. The problem with Peterson, he just lacks that type of masculine character, especially in the unstable world that we live in right now.
He also cries on Pierce Morgan every time he goes on. I'm just saying.
That's not a good look,
not a very
especially
good look.
on the world stage.
Yeah, that's not a good look on the world
I'm
stage.
just saying. All right, fair enough. Miguel has Tate on all three, UK, Canada, and America. Abe, what do you got here?
Okay, so I know this is gonna be so hard, but I'm gonna go with Peterson as well. And the reason is I don't want Islam to be the head religion of all three of those countries, first of all. And second of all sex work is prostitution.
Correct. Okay.
So
you're going with Peterson on here.
yeah, I don't want an Islamic pimp as the leader of all three countries. So
okay.
You,
All right.
you know,
fair
I
enough
heard
there.
I heard something about that he's not Islamic, but he doesn't want to come out and say it because there's some other shit about it. Like, what?
To be honest, bro, Tate actually feels like he's kind of like he doesn't really go by the rules of Islam. It kind of feels like to me. But
He's a little bit of a
nevertheless,
hypocrite on that one.
yeah, but he still fucking submits to the Islamic religion here. But I don't even think he's actually Islam. I think he's always been kind of wishy-washy
find
on
this
the
clip,
religion,
dude. I
similar to
can't find this
Peterson, where
clip.
He was an atheist, then he was a Christian, and then he was Islam.
Yeah, but Peter is more like agnostic. Like he's not even sure about it. I mean, come on, look at what happened.
Peterson doesn't even know what the fuck
Look
he's
what happened
at.
in the Jubilee.
Yeah, but at least he believes that the biblical principles are the best.
You have two kids that pretty much kind of just, took him out, and a psychologist, a philosopher is like, come on, dude, like that doesn't look good. Like if one, him crying, two, the fact that two kids can take him out, like it doesn't look good on
OJ,
the world.
I'll tell you this. I think him crying on Pierce Morgan, like fucking every time he goes on there, is more embarrassing than that Jubilee debate that he had. Just my opinion. So, Abe, you got Peterson, correct?
I guess, yeah. It's crappy, but hey,
Okay, it's tied.
Here's what it
Nacho
is.
had the same opinion. It's kind of crappy, but he even said it's unfortunate, but I'll go with Peterson here.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, only because you said in their current state. So I'm like,
yeah.
If I would rather take them in their totality, because early Peterson was good. You know what I mean? So early Peterson was good. He had a lot of good advice. Like I don't like his like fence sitting on Christianity. Like that's what got him.
Totality?
I mean, yeah, in their totality, definitely Peterson. Like without
it
question.
Doesn't matter on the totality. You're still picking Peterson.
Well, but I'm saying, like I said, unfortunately, because you said in their current state, which in their current state, it's a lot harder. It's a lot narrower.
Gotcha.
And the only reason I still would probably choose Peterson is because, I would definitely agree with Abe. Like the Muslim thing is crazy. But then also, just the homo sexting is crazy too, though.
That is okay. Fair enough.
Fair enough on that part.
I wouldn't see it that way. Hold up, really quick, OJ. I want
There's
to get to
there's only one way to see that one.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
You know what I mean, if you pretend to be a girl and sext a dude, and you know what they're doing on the other end, like,
okay, would you? Do
but
that?
I made money, bro. But I'm rich, dog. Like, nah, bro, I'm good.
But
on
Nacho,
that.
if you could send a sexual text to a guy, and he
Nope.
thinks it's a woman, and you get fucking $5 million from that, you can
You're
take care of your
gay,
family.
dude. No, because then imagine like sitting your kids down, dude.
Yeah, but
Sitting your
your
future sons down, and you're like, "Hey, sons, by the way, I've built this empire, and we have like this whole empire now, but it's because I was gay."
But
like,
don't you think intention matters, though? Let's be honest here. The intention matters. I don't think Tate was
I
doing that for
agree.
the sheer fact of him trying to be gay.
No, it's even worse. It's
money, making money off of these fucking lonely, pathetic men.
That's worse.
Has nothing to do with homosexuality. It has everything to do with
dude,
money.
it's gay. There's
okay.
no other way to
things
chop
for
it
money.
up, bro. Yeah, you did
did
gay
gay
shit
things
for
for
money,
money.
bro.
Abe agrees with you.
You're gay for pay, dude. I mean, it's just there's
It's
only
not
one.
gay for pay, bro. He's not
It's-
sucking dick. There's no penis going up his ass, bro.
Dude, other
So-
guys are sitting on the other end of the keyboard jerking
but the
off,
intention-
and
you
you're
admitted-
pretending to be a woman. Like, oh
But
yeah,
admitted
you
intention
wanna.
matters. You said intention
Dude.
matters.
I didn't
Tate
say
said-
that. I don't know. I don't.
You just
What,
agreed. You just agreed intention matters
When?
it comes to texting, right?
Hey, can we ask Teriak about it?
okay, I would say
What
like
he thinks?
if it was like a gun to your head and it's like your whole family's gonna die, that's different.
Oh, you're gay. You're gonna die gay then. You're
Yeah,
gonna
I
die
mean,
gay.
but no, because obviously, like you only survive if you like do the gay shit or whatever.
Okay, so
I
if
guess.
your
Like,
whole
yeah,
family survives, then you survive, but as a homosexual.
I guess, yeah. But I mean, at the same
But you
time,
say
then
it's
it's like,
right.
hey,
Makes no
but
sense,
it's
though.
for a moral like a moral good, like
But
a moral
there's no
positive.
moral
Still a
imperative.
homosexual,
In this
though.
case, it's a moral negative, and you're gay. Like,
Yeah,
this is a twofer, bro. Like,
But in my logic, you're still not gay because intention matters. That's my point here.
no, I don't think the intention matters at all, dude. I think it's still gay shit.
Okay, so let me ask you this: if okay, when
Maybe
it
I
comes to
answered
first-
wrong. Yeah, no, I don't think the intention matters. You're still gay. Like, you're just
okay.
You're
So,
just
for
gay, but
example-
you saved your family versus like you're gay, but you're like a millionaire. Like,
Yeah, for sure. So when it comes to self-defense, or when it comes to any type of deletion of another human being, don't you think intention matters depending on what the motives were when you delete somebody?
Yes, but
Consider
the outcome's
that
the same.
how you would be a murderer or somebody in
yeah,
self-defense.
but you're either way. You're killing a person, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Sure,
So it's
yeah, I
like
understand
you're
that.
killing a person and it's justified, which is
there's
a
a
killing, or you're intentionally killing someone because you
Through
you don't
self-defense.
like them or something, like because they
Yeah.
like mowed their lawn at fucking 9:30.
Yeah, but just like with the law, intention matters on
Right.
how you go about things. That's why same thing with lying, right?
Yeah, but this isn't the law, dude. This is like
Well,
higher than that. You know what I mean? This is like males
God's law.
shit. This is
I
like
would
this
say-
is like
yeah.
you're gay.
So
You're gay.
I would say the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. I want to get to Teriak. Teriak, you there? This
Yeah.
He's
So,
he's
again, like,
sexting some
both-
guys right now.
Both are dog shit choices, to be honest. Right? They're both
Okay,
dog
who
shit
would you
choices.
get though? Who would you get?
True.
But under no circumstances is England going to have a fucking Muslim prime minister. If
Based.
that is the case, then England needs to be wiped off the face of the fucking planet because they have way too much nukes to start playing around with that shit. Also, so like in Jordan Peterson's case, it's like it's more so it's like okay, yeah, like he's not really going to get shit done, but he's not going to fuck shit up. So it's kind of like
Okay, so you're going with Peterson then.
yeah.
For UK, let's go Canada.
Let's go. Join the squad, dude.
I'd probably say yeah, just do it for all.
All three?
Yeah, all three.
Okay, so Teriak's got Peterson, Nacho, you got Peterson, Abe's got Peterson, Miguel and OJ got Tate, and I'm gonna fucking shoot out my take here. I'm going with Tate with all three as well, so it's a tie at this point.
Damn.
It is a tie. It is a tie.
You guys are all gay, by the way.
I guess so. Man. At the end of the day, you did admit intent matters, but then you took that away. But I just thought it was a fun experiment. That's all. I just wanted to go through the panel.
It's a
there.
weird one.
It's a weird one, but I just thought it was fun.
It's funny because I actually talked about this with a friend recently the other day, and I at first I did answer with Tate, and then I was like,
Really?
well, yeah, but and mostly because of the masculine. Like I agree with like the masculine like leader type, whatever.
Yeah, he's
But-
not crying on camera.
Yeah, but the gay shit is not good. The Muslim
pretty
shit's not
questionable.
good, dude. You know.
Yeah, I don't see it as gay, bro. Like again, intent matters on these things.
I mean, regardless to
Ah.
what, the fact he was engaged in this kind of crazy shit is still pretty much makes him look bad, anyways.
But like, so here's what I was saying. Like, you use like killing someone as an example. So like, if you kill someone, it's justified. Like you kill them in self-defense or something, versus like you're a murderer and you like plan to kill someone
Right.
because you hate
Because
them.
the
Like,
intent, everything, the context matters.
yeah, a little bit, but it's like either way, someone would still say you killed a person. That's what I'm saying. So like, you did some gay shit, but I just did it to make money though. It's like, well, you still did some gay shit. You're still kind of gay, dude.
Yeah,
That's
it
all
still
I'm
makes
saying.
him look bad at the
Yeah,
end
but
of
there
the
was
day.
but there was no physical content. It's nothing like that.
Doesn't matter,
Again,
dude.
I think most people, the vast majority of men and women, would send a homosexual text to somebody if they're going to make $1 million off of that. I think. Look,
That's what's
OJ,
wrong with our society.
No, I understand
Yeah.
that. I'm saying
That's a
it is
problem.
wrong. No, trust me, bro. Making money off of like sexual prostitution, totally agree with that.
No, but
However,
but anything
we're
though,
talking
like
about
there's a big like, but I make a bunch of money to do it. Like so, like
That
you know what I
opens
mean? Like
it.
if I could get
Questionable
if I could get like you know $1 billion tomorrow, but I have to eat like you know a tray full of shit.
Yeah,
you
but
know what I
that's
mean? Like
physical, though, right?
it's the same concept. It's just like you have to explain yourself to your friend. You're like what? Who? And your legacy is like forever. Like oh yeah, that's that one billionaire guy, but he ate a tray of shit to get his billions. Like it kind of. You know what I mean? It taints the whole thing. It's
No,
like,
I know what you mean on that, but I mean, like I
is
said,
it really
I think,
worth it? You know?
Yeah, but like, let's say, what's the guy that ran Playboy?
Hugh Hefner.
Hugh
Hugh
Hefner,
Hefner.
yeah.
Thank you, Hugh Hefner. Hugh Hefner ran an entire like magazine column, right, where he had women take off their clothes for pictures. Now that could be a form of just as actually worse than what Andrew Tate did, but I don't think most people are calling him a homosexual there. I think when it comes to like Hugh Hefner, he has massive respect, not only with women but even with men here. I don't think that's something that really tarnished his legacy. Now I get you on morality and I get you there on the standards, but how the world perceives you, I think most people wouldn't call Hugh Hefner gay for running a Playboy magazine.
Yeah, but he's not directly like messaging. That's what I'm saying. Like it's a little different because he was not
But he was running-
engaging. He wasn't like sending letters out to his like subscribers, like sending them
what if he
dirty,
was?
sending them dirty. Man, well, if he was, then he's gay, dude. I don't know what you want to say. This was like he literally brags about it on this stupid podcast. He's like, yeah. And we unplugged their keyboard, and I plugged my keyboard in, and
because
like,
I was better at getting them in.
because
Yeah,
I knew
'cause he
how
was
to
better
talk
at-
to these women. Like,
Yeah, well, because he was
that's
better at
gay,
getting the money.
bro. You're
well, he was better at getting
but better at getting the money is just you're just like dressing it up a little bit though. Like,
Not
what's
really, not
happening
really
is
his intent.
you're sending explicit messages. You're like, oh yeah, I'll let you put it in my. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, that's gay as fuck, dude.
Like if you're seriously, if you're texting another dude and you're saying I'm so wet for you right now, there's probably an issue.
Yeah, that's gay, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And
let
you're
me ask you,
talking
but this
about,
is the
oh
thing,
yeah,
but this
and
is
I'll
the
let
thing,
you
this is
finish
the
in
thing,
my.
This is the thing. It's like I'm so wet right now. You're sending that to a man, like that's gay, and then like the response is like, yeah, but I'm doing it for money, and it's like, but that just makes you a gay prostitute.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't make it. It actually makes it worse.
Yeah.
If you're doing it for money, it actually makes it worse. Like if you were doing it for like a noble good, it was like, okay, you have to like send these like gay texts out to this person.
Okay, so
but
would you-
like you're
would you
gonna
do that
save
for
like half of humanity. And you're like, okay,
Yeah,
all right, well then I'll
Well, then
fucking
you're just
do
gay
it.
at the end of the day.
You're
but-
still gay, but at least you did it for a moral good. At least you had a good. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. The moral good. So like doing it to like save humanity is the same thing as like
Yeah,
killing
but-
someone in self defense.
but
Okay,
hold on.
versus murdering someone because you don't like them or something.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, my point
They're
is
both
that
killers.
the intent matters. If Andrew Tate has no sexual attraction to men at all, and he's doing this for fucking notorious reasons,
Even worse.
money, or saving the world, you pick one. He did it to save the world, or he did it for money. It doesn't matter. The point is that the intent matters. So if Andrew Tate did save the world, or he did it matters. So if sent messages, dirty message to a guy to save the world, it's like, oh, well, you're gay, but at the same time, he's not attracted to men at all. There's still some correlation there that you're kind of missing, that the intent matters. Andrew Tate has no attraction to men at all.
No, I
but you're
get
still
that.
doing gay.
I'm saying that
Yeah,
makes
but-
it
but-
even
but-
worse.
But no, my point is that when you're a homosexual, and I know fucking homosexuals, they love dick. They fucking have it on pride parades.
Well, I can't
they-
say the F slur on YouTube, okay, but that's what I would
They're a
call
bunch
it.
of- dude, hold on, I got you. So the point is, bro, the intention actually matters here. So if Andrew Tate is a complete heterosexual, he's attracted to women, but he did this to either
Supposedly.
save the world or to
Right.
make him money. It still doesn't change the fact that the intention matters, bro. It doesn't
But
make
we
him
would
gay.
No, it still
we
doesn't
would
change the
still
fact
take
that
you on
he's
that
gay.
because we would still take you on that because his
wouldn't-
intention was to deceive.
Yeah, that doesn't make him gay, though. He could still be fucking
gay,
the most
dude.
evil man in the world. He's not
Okay.
attracted to men. That doesn't make him gay. Where's the argument here?
Then
What if
he's a
he did it for
deceptive-
five? What if he did it for $5?
Then at the very least he lies for money.
He's still not
So
gay.
either
He's
way,
just lying for money.
If
Yeah.
your
still
friend,
making
wait,
that
if
anyway.
your friend told you,
Period.
wait, Jake, if like one of your good friends told you like, oh,
OJ.
I like made this like Snapchat or something, and like, but I'm like pretending to be a girl, and but like people, and they tell you like I made like $50, dude. But I had to like sex this guy for like an hour until he like finished jerking off. You wouldn't call him gay, dude?
Well, here's the thing. For $50, I'd be like, you have a long way to go for that fucking millions. I wouldn't recommend it, but I'd be like, okay, the intent matters at the end of the day.
Oh, come on, dude. The cope,
Hold on,
dude.
hold on.
You're
I would-
coping.
No, it's not coping. I would say, bro, like, are you jerking off to dudes? There's a lot of intent there.
No,
If
the
you're doing
dudes
it
are
purely
jerking
for money-
themselves off. You're just pretending to
No,
like
are
it.
you though? Are you though?
I mean,
That's
you
the
might as
thing.
well be, dude.
Yeah,
just
but there's
just a
but bro,
You're
curiosity, though.
participating in their
Hold on, just curiosity.
jerk
Come on,
offery.
Nacho,
We talked about
come on.
Playboy. We
You're
talked
not
about
even
Playboy,
close to
and
that.
we're talking about also,
Pretty
Andrew
gay, dude.
Tate, business, right? So
Yeah.
both of them, when it comes to Playboy and it comes to Andrew Tate's business, they were both had a woman figure, no matter what that's there. Like, we had a woman on the magazines. He has,
Andrew
hey,
Tate has
these men,
yeah.
these men are saying like, women live or whatever, right? Taking off all, whatever, showing their body.
Right.
And
I'm
then
with you.
and these and while texting or whatever, right? So at the end of the day, it's not like if nobody's gonna call Hugh Hefner gay for that, because that he
But
just
where
made a
did
whole bunch of
like?
of men jack off.
He
That's what
did by hiring these bitches. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
but
did.
he wasn't actively like calling them. If he was calling them up on the phone and like talking dirty to them,
his own
like
voice?
with a
With his own
voice
voice.
changer or something like that to make it seem like it was a woman, like that's the equivalent here. Like Hugh Hefner's not a good there's not a good comparison here. Like Hugh Hefner's a degenerate, but like he didn't participate actively in the masturbatory practice
But
of
he
these
made a lot of
people.
marketing deals, right?
But he's like orchestrating all this though.
And not only that, like even with
That's what I'm saying. Like, if Andrew Tate did the things that he did, and he just orchestrated, and he didn't come out like a dumbass and brag about this on a podcast that he unplugged the girls' keyboards, plugged his own keyboards in, and literally sexted these dudes and talked dirty to them while they masturbated to these topless girls.
Yeah, but
That's
the
a whole
point of him-
different level. Like you're passing a whole different threshold here. Like
Yeah, but the whole point of him explaining that situation was about how women are terrible at
I know what his point of explaining it
his
was.
point was there. So he had to fucking
He just revealed that he's also gay in the process.
It's not gay, bro. He realizes how men act. He realizes what men want, right? He knows the wordings. He knows
Yeah,
the
men want to
sensitivity
talk
of
to Andrew Tate while they jerk off.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Bro, let's be serious here. Tate actually
I'm being
knows
serious.
how-
It's just
No,
funny.
Tate actually knows how. It is funny, but Tate does actually know how men fucking operate, right?
Yeah, he knows
these
how to turn
situations.
them on,
He
dude.
was able to con them for all their money. He was able to con them, bro. He told the woman there was
Yeah,
times where
he got
would
their
tell the woman,
money
"Hey,
and their semen,
have
dude.
them meet up on this situation." He would say deny them, and then it was a back and forth with the emotions.
Yeah,
when
and the
they got
girls didn't
mad-
get it, so he just had to talk to them himself.
No, but yeah, but even outside of the sexual aspect, Tate was still getting their money out of there. Intent matters, Nacho. Like that's my whole point. There is that if you accidentally, if you're in a car crash because somebody cut you off, and then you venture off to the next lane and hit another car, and you accidentally murder that person or hit that person, they die. Are you a murderer? The intent matters here. Okay. So at the end of the day, if
Yeah, but
calling
you're
him
not a
gay,
murderer, but you still
yeah,
killed
but he's
someone.
not
That's
a
what I'm
gay guy.
saying.
Yeah, but he's not a gay guy because he's not actually doing.
Bro,
sexual
he's
activity with gay men.
gay.
Yeah,
He
but he's not
sexted men. He talked dirty to men while they jerked off to completion.
If somebody
He's gay
accidentally
as
gets cut- hold
fuck,
on,
bro.
Let me ask you a question. If somebody gets accidentally cut off and they hit another car and they murder that person or they die.
They didn't murder them, but they killed somebody. No, but they're a killer.
Great.
They're a
so
killer.
He's not a gay guy. He's not a gay guy. He did something that was questionable.
Questionable,
It's still
brother. It was gay
Well,
as
it's true.
fuck.
It's true. He's not gay as fuck, bro. Fucking.
Okay, so should we say that he's not physically gay, but he's verbally gay?
Yeah, I guess so. Whatever you're making. But yeah, I guess so. Verbally gay, whatever. Whatever, bro. But he's not gay. We can
He's
do
just
that.
gay. He's just gay in spirit, you know.
No,
Just
he's not
saying
gay.
words.
Oh, dude, the guy's not attracted to fucking men, dude. He's not.
He was while he was fucking sexting them and they were jerking off,
wasn't.
dude.
There's no proof on that, bro. But,
He
you know,
said it. What do you mean?
It's funny that I have to be the guy to back up Andrew Tate on this shit, and I get it.
I mean, you don't have to do this, dude. I mean,
have
you
to
just.
do that because you're making a false claim saying that he's a homosexual when he has no.
I mean,
history of
dude,
homosexual
if you
activities.
caught your friend sexting other dudes, you'd be like, holy shit, dude, my friend is gay as fuck, bro. Some guy's sending him dick pics and he's talking about how he's going to
But you
jump
know the
on it.
context
And
of it, though. Hold on. You know the context where Andrew Tate knew that these women weren't
That's what
able
I-
to pull in more money, so he told them what to.
it doesn't matter, dude. He's still
but
doing
context
gay
matters.
shit, bro.
Okay, so context doesn't matter. Everything, just like when
Dude,
Trump said, "There's good
if-
people." Hold on.
That's what I'm
Like when Trump
saying.
said-
If I
when
kill
Trump-
some, if
hold on,
I
hold on.
kill someone
Hold on,
tomorrow
really quick.
because they
Nacho,
attacked
Nacho.
me, this will take
Nacho.
20 seconds. It'll take 20 seconds. I
It's
swear.
gonna take 20 seconds
Real
for me,
quick.
I promise.
If I kill someone because they're jump me, okay? I killed someone. If I kill someone because I go murder them, I killed someone. Either way, I'm a killer.
But the difference is that in one scenario you're a murderer, and the other scenario you're doing self-defense. So
Both cases you kill someone, you're
really-
a killer. One case is just justified, the other is not.
Okay, got you there, Nacho. But my point is, which I fucking forgot it. I wish I could remember here. I've been drinking.
We're about to talk
But I want to ask you
with
something.
good people on
I'll
both
try to remember,
sides.
bro.
Nacho hoodwinked you.
You got me all worked up, faggot. I mean, sorry,
Hey.
I'm on the old shit right here, and I'm fucking saying this shit. Fuck me. What the hell's going on here, Nacho? You bring the worst out of me, Nacho.
You got you riled up big
welcome,
time.
dude.
Riled up, bro. But
We
by the
got
way,
you over
Nacho
here
did lose this debate, FYI. but
Defending
go on.
Andrew Tate. I mean, the caption here, like the clip, headline is going to be like, Jake Var defends gay Andrew Tate.
Well, that's another clipping CT right there. After the fact we had Teriak made Mel concede on her shit. So or his.
Abe, teach me about the birds and the bees, bro. I don't know what that is.
Hey, text Andrew Tate. He'll tell you all about him, dude.
What? Andrew. I'll send you money.
Yeah,
But no,
you just gotta pay Andrew's hookers, and then he'll text you directly. He'll tell you all about those birds and bees.
Chingao, bro. Chingao. Fuck you, Nacho. But okay. I thought you're on my side. I thought we were the same race, bro. I thought races stick together.
Dude,
and
I'm
shit.
Spanish. We conquered
all the blacks-
you, okay?
That's what all the blacks tell me. The race should stick together. You're fucking.
No, dude, I'm we're conquistadors, dude. We came and
Oh, you're Spaniard.
yeah, we came and conquered, dude.
All right, motherfucker. All right. So you have no Mexican heritage then at all?
Oh, I'm sure there was a little. I think there was a little. I think somebody got a little curious back there, but
Okay.
I
Well,
don't
I
know
do have
exactly
some,
where it's at. But I know we have a family crest that goes back to like Spain.
Okay, right on. So do I actually. That's why
Yeah.
I was thinking that you had at least like Mexican roots or something or Mexico roots. I mean.
I don't know. Everyone is like super pale and white, and it's like I don't know. They track their lineage like pretty good. So I'm like they were. I don't know. They came and did the whole conquistador thing, and then they stayed there for like a couple years, and then they moved into like I don't know, New Mexico or something like that.
Yeah. Abe, by the way, are you full on white, Abe, or are you like half something else?
I would say I appear white.
You do. But
I have a whole bunch. So like my grandmother came from India.
Oh God, really?
Oh,
My
you're
grandmother came
you're
from
mixed.
India.
Oh no.
But I'm like 16% Scandinavian and like I don't know, 8%
Sending it, dude.
Indian and like just a whole bunch of junk.
Holy shit, bro! You're mutt up the ass then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
always
that's the
joke that I'm the
Caribbean life.
13th warrior because
Yeah.
I got like 18 or 20 something percent Scandinavian and then 8% Indian, and I'm like, oh, so that's
Nice.
weird.
Yeah.
So basically, like the Caribbeans, we're pretty
Well,
much a mutt.
I'm gonna have
You're
to get
much
out of
even
here,
now?
dude. I stayed way too long, but
For sure, Nacho, and I'm glad you did because you know you're having
dude,
fun.
we
with
had a
the panel,
blast,
you know,
dude. Yeah,
Project
that was
Veal Pod.
fun. That was a lot
Good
of
one.
fun.
That was a good one.
It's true. It's fucking true. You had a blast on Veal Pod just like everybody else. Mel has a great blast here, getting fucking scolded
Just
and
getting
roasted.
railed all the time.
Oh God.
And I was trying to get here during the time that Mel was in there, but
Yeah,
I gotta take care of my daughter.
it is. Yeah, and Nacho has what? Nacho, you have 2 kids now?
Yeah, yeah.
Two
I got a little
kids.
boy and a little
Congratulations.
girl, dude.
Congratulations.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Trying to
Sure.
make as many as I can, dude. We gotta repopulate this nation with sane people. So
There you go. Is your wife your best friend?
he's pretty chill, dude.
Gay. Gay. My standards, bro. My standards. It's gay. You are now gay, Nacho.
But it's for a good cause. So you know what?
Okay,
I'll
fair
take
enough.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Dates it to Jen.
Damn, I'm gonna laugh about that forever, dude.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for having me. That was a lot of fun. I'll see you guys.
Anytime, bro. Have a good one.
Damn, dude. That was fun, dude. I'm glad I did that.
So far, I don't see anything.
Looks like everybody went to bed.
I do see police activity up ahead.
Battalion 9 is your South Pass Agency rep.
I do see police activity up ahead.
Dang. Anyways, I'm going to go to bed. That was a lot of fun. We didn't do anything that we planned on doing. I plan on doing like LA riots coverage, insurrection stuff, Iran versus Israel, like a little bit, and then just doing a debate review. But then I saw via, Jake was streaming, and I haven't gone over there in a while. So it was just a winging it kind of night. You know what I mean? That was a good debate. We got into it about Andrew Tate. That's going to be a funny highlight. So, because nobody loses. It's just fun, dude. It's just Jake. So. Anyways, we're going to bed. Thanks for hanging out. Whoever's still here, watching later, catching the live stream later. See you guys later.